What's going on, everyone? How are you doing today? Today is Sunday. What is the 16th today? 15th, 16th. 16th, I believe, today. I'm, as always, just barely running on time. Those of you who didn't see the little comment there on screen, those of you who are just watching the replay, or those of you who are catching us live right now who don't like reading the comments, we are no longer doing channel promotion pre-show, something we've been doing for about the last 3 months or so. But, excuse me, air qualities again. But due to some things occurring, we're just not doing channel promotion in the pre-roll anymore, but you're welcome to say hello, chit-chat, the usual stuff, and we'll be getting into our main show here shortly. We did a bunch of adjustments and renovations to the show on the back end over the last week, probably a solid 10 to 15 hours worth of structural improvements to be able to help the flow of the show on my end, to make my life hopefully easier moving forward. But if we have some issues today, let it be what it is. What is going on, Callie? How you doing today? I'm ready to get this show rocking and rolling, though. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. And if there was an easier way for me to let everyone know that we were starting earlier, I would have started this show probably an hour ago. But how is everyone doing out there today? Everyone having a good time? Feeling good? Feeling sharp? Very wet in New York? There you go. It's a little bit on and off with the rain out here in California right now. But as of this week, we saw 108 degrees when I was at the swap meet this week on Tuesday. Also, those of you who do watch this pre-show, don't forget to check out the sponsors mentioned up above. We are going to be altering our sponsors starting next month, as well as we ramp up for eBay Open. We got some new people coming in, and we're saying goodbye to some longtime sponsors as well. So last chance to take advantage of some of those really great offers that are, a handful of them are exclusive to our show. So definitely check out that PayPal card if you haven't gotten one yet. It's pretty awesome. And then check out the Pirate Ship if you're looking to save a few bucks on shipping. The Honey Browser extension. Oh my God, it's air gets dry in here. But yeah, check out all our sponsors. Hope everyone's doing good. I gotta finish off my coffee still. Go from a 2 to a 10 before this show starts. Yes, it's a dark shirt. You know why it's a dark shirt, Mindy? Because I went through and realized that the dry cleaner destroyed the buttons on about 6 of my shirts. And they were even sneaky about it, and they put them behind the shirt at the front on each bag. So they put one of the shirts that was fine, then 2 messed up shirts in one bag, and then they did the same thing on another, and the same thing on another. So I'm going to march down there tomorrow and demand that they repair or pay for all the shirts that they damaged. It's pretty ridiculous. It's my first time using a dry cleaner, and to see so many of them. I have fragments, if you can see it. Little fragments of my buttons, so I'm really upset at them for that. But the guy behind the counter seemed really nice, so I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen. What's up, FGS? How you doing today? I'm just getting geared up right now. What's going on, Donatella Bodolino? That's a power name right there. You know what name that reminds me of? That'd be a really strong name to do real estate with. You know. Oh, you're looking for a house? You go see Donatella. She'll take care of you. Free dry cleaning for a year. That's not even that much. I mean, it's like $250 a shirt, but I don't know. Really frustrating. A really nice guy, though, so I'm sure he'll be understanding of my frustration. And I can even tell him, too, 2 of the shirts I brought him, I never even wore. I just wanted to get them pressed. So if he literally destroyed 2 brand new shirts. Well, they're not destroyed, but the buttons are destroyed. And It's just really frustrating. And I don't know if there's such a thing as a button that can't be or a button that can't be pressed. But at the end of the day, if you screwed up a couple of shirts and you continue to press them after that, then you're doing something wrong. But hope everyone is doing well tonight. We're going to have a nice, chill evening of news and topics and discussions. And there's some stuff going on this week. Nothing too crazy, but I mean, it all boils down to your perception. The one and only Debbie Does Sales. Good to see you again. Now, why the name Debbie Does Sales? Is that a play on Debbie Does Dallas, or is there another motivation behind that name? We are under severe thunderstorm warnings. Whoa, be safe, be careful. I mean, the show's good, but it's not that good. It's not worth a risk in life and limb inside of a thunderstorm for. Doing sales. We still got to get the chat box fixed. The colors are still way off, but we'll get on that here in time. So I'm going to, thank you for the music compliment. It's not my music, but we are having some custom stuff made here very soon. This is just some royalty-free beats that we're legally allowed to use. She says, I'm going to start talking about them on my YouTube channel. Tried to go live, but YouTube gods kept me from doing that. Actually, no, you did go live. I saw you go live. I saw you trying to sort it out. It's a lot to take on board. That's something that I talk with people about too. I'm doing a little bit of a clinic here next week for a select group of individuals, and the complexities of doing a successful quality broadcast are very high. It's very complex to do. A Google Hangout stream or just a real quick stream launch like that shouldn't be too bad, but we actually have a private Facebook page we can add you to if you want to practice doing test streams via Facebook, and then you can kind of get the hang of it. Or you can do a YouTube stream, but you can do it unlisted instead of public, so that way you can get a little bit of practice and understand how everything works without broadcasting to the entirety of the internet. So you may want to consider doing that. But like with all things on the internet, if it's your first time, it's always going to be a bit more complex than you might realize. People keep talking about Hangouts going away, but I haven't done any research on it. I don't know what the story is behind that. We don't use Hangouts here. I think we used it once or twice when we had to just really slap something together quick and we didn't have the time to polish something out once with me and Corey. But utilizing OBS is 100% the way to go, but I believe there's mandates on the number of subscribers that you need to have. I think you need to have at least 1,000 to be able to stream via OBS, but Pam's told me otherwise. I don't know. I have no clue what I'm talking about sometimes. I've heard one thing and then I've heard the other. Debbie, you are very, very welcome. I appreciate your patronage. I appreciate your very, very warm hospitality. I still have your comment here where it says, "This is my first time here. I am here forever. You are so refreshing." And you gave me that $5 super chat last week. I still have it pinned here on my screen. So I do appreciate people who see value in what we're doing here. It's of great significance to me. So I'm always for helping those who have helped me. We got some new buttons, guys. Those of you who have been following us for a long time, a lot of you don't know, but we are actually on Instagram as well. I'm going to be testing out some buttons right now. Now, the thing is, I usually lean on the wonderful admin / moderators here within the chat, which is Pam and Mindy, but we have our new control deck here. It's off to my right, so normally you'll see me reaching over to my left and pressing stuff, but we have a brand new one here on the right, which gives us access to be able to press a button like this one to be able to hands-free post a lovely comment regarding our Instagram. If you haven't gone and followed our Instagram, we're going to start posting exclusive content there. So if you want to see some of the behind the scenes stuff, what's actually happening on the other side of the camera, some of my prep stuff for the show, go follow us on Instagram. And if you're curious what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the Patreon thing, we'll throw that link up there as well. You can go check out the Patreon. And, you know, Debbie says it's great people. Yeah, it's a fantastic community. I can't say enough great things about it. I was on a truly lovely experience last night. You know, I don't know if I can call it a date. I think we were hanging out having some dinner, and I was talking about the community and saying just how wonderful it is, and not hamming it up or anything, but I am beyond pleased with the caliber of character that we have within our community. It's very unique. But we have some changes that we posted up in our secondary group. If you're a patron and you haven't seen our private group post regarding some of the Patreon changes, which we're going to touch base on a little bit this evening as well. There's some big changes that are coming, and now is a fantastic time to check out the program. We have initiated a membership cap, which I didn't think was going to be a thing that we were going to have to do, but I'm only going to be able to take on and assist so many people. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So if you're looking to get in before the doors actually close on that, then it might be something you may want to consider sooner rather than later. Yes, my new button board. It is gorgeous. I don't know. I can show it to you probably. I think I have enough cord. So look at this bad boy. Oh, yeah. Oh, isn't that beautiful? So this is what controls the entire show now. And this is a massive upgrade. Massive upgrade to our previous one, which I have bailed up. It's a smaller one. Now, the thing is, I could use these two in conjunction, but I really don't think I'm going to need more buttons than that. But it might be something that I might want, or I might keep the other one just for whenever I need to go mobile and just kind of take it with me. Who knows? Which program? Oh, the show? Yeah, this show's always open. Everyone can come down and watch this. We had originally had the belief that I was going to have the time to do a private show once a month, but that kind of went against my core tenets of making all of my help available to all of those who needed it. We even do a patron sponsor program too. So if you're somebody who's just started reselling and you know you're going to need help, but you know you're committed to it, we'll speak with you, we'll interview with you, or not interview, we'll speak with you, we'll consult with you, and we'll see if you'd be somebody that we can sponsor into the program so that way you can get the extended support before you start generating revenue. So we don't ever want to turn anyone away ever. Yes, invite everyone to come on over. Last song, here we are, guys. Let's go and have ourselves a wonderful show this evening. Oh, and friendly reminder, if you haven't selected the 1080p option, then do that. Yeah. Hey, Adam, we are no longer doing any channel promotions of any kind in our pre-roll. We've made some policy changes, so please no channel promotions at this time. How do we do what, Debbie? What are we looking to accomplish today? And hello to you, Adam. Hello to you. It's Derek, right? Hello to you, Derek. Thank you for dropping in this evening as well. should be a rockin' and rollin' show. I feel like I need more caffeine. Actually, Pam, I'll go and take care of that right now for you, okay? I didn't think I was going to be able to get to it so easy but I've got 2 computers, so let me get those removed for you. Okay, got that sorted out for you, Pam. How do we go to HD? Just go ahead and click on the gear. Should be on your screen. If you're on a desktop, the gear is going to be on the bottom underneath the little red bar, a little scrub bar. It should be a little wheel, a little gear cog. Click on that and then bring your quality option up to 1080, and then you'll be able to see us in super crisp high definition. Now, if you notice some lag or delays while watching us in HD, it could be because your computer might not be capable or your internet connection might not be strong enough to be able to handle that type of stream. So usually the automatic may be your best bet if you're unsure as far as what your computer can do. But if you have the right computer to be able to handle this stream, I think we're the only people who are currently streaming at 1080p resolution. I just feel it's an important thing. I've wanted to do it for a long time because it's very important, especially when we're showcasing items and talking about antiques and collectibles and stuff to that effect. I need to wake up bad. Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn the gas on here in about 1 minute. I love seeing everyone roll in like 30 seconds before the show starts. Is everyone ready to rock and roll? Are we ready to have a great time? Upper right hand corner is an arrow. Click that to share. Oh yeah, that's how you do that if you want to share this video. Or youtube.com/pickups. You can tell people to just go straight to that link to be able to check out the show. Guys, I promise you, once this intro plays, I'll come back. I'm going to be a brand new man. I'm going to be sharp. I'm going to be energetic. I'm going to be ready to roll. But best of all, I'm going to be genuine. And just like Future Fortune said, we're going to go ahead and give him some credit for that. Let's go ahead and get this going. What is going on, guys? This is Jay Kraft with the Facebook group Bolo Roundup Pickers Lounge, coming at you live again from beautiful Bakersfield, California. Today is June 16th, 2019. And boy, oh boy, I know I always say it, but I promise you, we got an interesting show. You know, there's something about the world of e-commerce that they keep generating more and more news for me to be able to give to you, and because I'm a hard worker, I constantly have more items to show you each and every week as well. First and foremost, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there today, and I'm there with you guys as well. If you're like me and your father isn't there, I'm here with you. So I appreciate you taking the time to be here with me this evening. And let's get into some big news. This week's headlines, guys, we're going to be talking about Goodwill and how they're officially partnering up with OfferUp. On top of that, we're going to be talking about a glitch that happened on the 12th of this week that could entitle you to refunds or give you the power to be able to cancel a transaction that occurred on Wednesday on eBay. It's very, very interesting what happened with that. On top of that, we're going to be talking about, and I think it's kind of a big deal that no one else is mentioning this, and I always say that, we're going to be talking about fulfillment from eBay, the direct competition, phrasing, whatever you want to say, against Amazon, and why you need to know about those changes that are happening. And one of the biggest topics that I feel that any entrepreneur should know is personal branding and the value of personal branding behind it. Now, we're going to be doing a dive into that, and you might be thinking, Jay, I don't care about all of that, but what if I said that a little bit of extra effort could net you another $10, $20, or $30,000 a year from taking the time to create a personal brand for yourself? Now, it goes without saying, J Craft is becoming a brand here on YouTube because I put a lot of effort into making sure that people know who I am and what my name is and what I'm here to do. But I will say this, okay? We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about being a jack of all trades, and we're going to be talking about the importance of not taking shortcuts in life. We got a big show in store. If you haven't done so, you may want to grab a pen and paper by the end of the show, but with this being YouTube, you're always welcome to go back and replay this video. Those of you who are joining me live tonight, I really appreciate you being here. I know I say that every Sunday, and this being Father's Day, I understand it can be even a little more difficult to take the time to be down here. So thank you to those of you who did take the time to be here. On top of that, I want to give an extended thank you to our two lovely moderators for the evening. We have both Pam and Mindy in the house. Thank you so much to you guys. And a special thank you to our patrons who help make this show possible. And a new and warm welcome to Debbie, our newest patron joining our community. We have some Patreon updates coming a little bit later in the show. I don't want to bog everyone down with that right now. On top of that, I want to give a thank you to our sponsor of this week's episode. Will I get my finger pointed in the right direction the first try? Yes, nailed it this time. Usually get that wrong because everything's married. Our our sponsor is Prairie Grit this week. If you haven't checked them out, for one flat fee every single month, you can list and sell an unlimited amount of items with no final value fee. On top of that, if you use our special promo link, you're going to get a free month. Absolutely free month. You pay $0 for the first 30 days to list as much as you want and to sell as much as you want. If you don't like it, cancel it. Who cares? Enjoy that free month on us just for checking out prairiegrit.com/free month. That is a case-sensitive link, but we'll make sure we get it in the chat for you. And yes, I can see you, Ursula, in the chat. Thank you for joining us, as well as Mindy, Future Fortunes, Debbie Does Sales. We got a lot of people in the crowd tonight, and appreciate it. Last week, if you missed out, guys, we talked about Prime Day and what you need to do to make sure that you are set up for it. We talked about tax compliance with Bonanza, FedEx fines coming up to $350 per violation, as well as some Amazon ASIN bans. So if you missed last week's show, I strongly recommend you go check that bad boy out. A lot of information going on last week. Now, if you missed out this week too, guys, I was in a couple of different places. I'd love to know why that button is not working. Give me 1 second, guys. Sample of the week. I think we need to move that all the way up. Last week, why are you broken? So like I said, we got some new updates happening with some of our software. There we go. Last week, I put out a video talking about the pack and ship workflow on my YouTube channel. If you missed it, I strongly recommend you go check it out. There's a lot of little tidbits to learn about pack and ship, and we may keep it up as well. On top of that, I was on the Reseller Roundup on Corey Barlow's channel, Power Reselling. It was a fun little time. I think we spent about 2 hours together. I recommend you check that out as well. We'll put a link somewhere, or if Corey shows up and watches this later, maybe we'll make him be the one responsible to put the link down there too. So guys, I had an awesome week this week, and I know I say that and I say, yeah, it's fun and good times and everything, but my good friend, aka my bonus mom, no offense to you, Mindy, okay, you're my extra mom, she's my bonus mom. My good friend Susan came down to see me from Fresno. She came out here to Bakersfield. We hit the swap meet. It was 108 degrees, and believe it or not, I tapped out before she did. I said, I cannot take this anymore. Let's go get lunch. So we started there, and we picked up some really great items, and we're going to be taking a peek at those items today, actually. And now, believe it or not, I'm backed up about 3 weeks worth of items, so I'm going to try and get through the news quickly and try and get to the items and cover as many as I can. But we picked up some great stuff, great margins, fun stuff, cute stuff, a lot of good times. And then we went to Woolworths afterward, and we did some walking around there, had a fantastic burger and drink. Those of you who don't know, our town has the last operating Woolworths diner anywhere in America, and we have a very special feature presentation coming in about 2.5 to 3 months. We're bringing an entire crew down there, and we're going to be shooting a very amazing video, probably going to be about a half hour, maybe 45-minute long video that's going to showcase the history of Woolworths, and it's going to talk about the legacy of that location. We're also going to be talking with some of the workers there and getting their experience. We're going to be talking with some of the vendors who are there too. We have a very large production in order for that one, but it's going to take a little bit of time. We're going to be waiting until after eBay open to get that rolling. And then from there, we walked around, we hit some of the thrift stores, and then guess what happened to me? I got a ticket. Apparently, you're only allowed to park 90 minutes in downtown Bakersfield, which makes no sense at all, okay? None, seeing as how that's where the businesses are, and if they want you to spend money there, then they should let you stay longer, and if they want to enforce some type of policy like that, why not give me the option to spend money to be able to stay there longer? There's no parking meters, there's no daytime parking pass or anything like that. But I managed to sweet talk the cute girl that was running the meter maid, because I saw her down the street after I walked back to my car. I was moving the car up so Susan would be able to put these really awesome, I believe they were Lennox cookie jars. They were huge. She got a set of 4. One was a cookie jar, flour, sugar. I can't remember what the other one was, but it was fantastic pickup. And we were able to negotiate them down. For all 4 of them, I got them down to $10 on the 4 of them. And she was telling me that they're worth a couple $100 for the lot, which I totally believe her. They're gorgeous looking pieces. I didn't think they were worth that much. I might have fought her on it. But not to trail off too hard, I pulled up to the lady and I said, hey, I just came back to, shuffle the car around. We're eating, we're spending money, doing this, that, and the other. I'm like, you left me a darn ticket. What's going on? And she's like, yeah, you can't be there more than 90 minutes. We're keeping track of all the cars now. I'm like, well, you can't really see the sign from the street, and I would much rather spend this $20 taking you out for a nice dinner than having to pay this ticket. And she hits me back real quick, because I thought I was being slick. You know what she says to me? She's like, you're going to take me out for a nice dinner, and it's only going to be $20? I was not expecting that level of sass from her. And I'm like, well, we can have a really nice dinner on a $20 budget. I'm like, maybe I'll need to cook it. And then she takes the ticket out of my hand. Okay, you know what she does? She takes the ticket out of my hand. She writes the word void on it, and then calls in to dispatch and tells them to cancel out the ticket for me. $1 saved is $1 earned. I can't stress this enough, guys. Right place, right time. Now, obviously, the best case scenario would have been if I never had gotten that ticket. But I got a story out of it, so I guess it's kind of worth it. And for those of you who are curious, she still told me no. But moving on, guys, we got some news for today. I know you guys love the news, but is my slideshow going to work? Oh my gosh, guys. And you know what's crazy? I test everything before the show starts. There we go. There's our slideshow. So, those of you who don't know, this show is Patreon funded. Oh, here we go. Future Fortunes with a $5.04 super chat saying the shipping video was very useful. Thank you, Jay. You are very welcome, Future Fortunes. And here's the thing, okay? We're going to be doing a very, very, very long series on my warehouse, because as I was shooting it, I realized that there was about 40 or 50 things that I wanted to talk on for about 10 to 15 minutes each. So I think I'm going to go in there with some camera gear when it cools down a little bit, and I'm just going to talk about everything that I want to talk about. I'm going to explain why I have the tools I have, why I have the boxes I have, where you should go to start ordering, how I order my stuff. I think I'm going to explain it all, because I think there's a lot of valuable information in there. And we're going to talk a little bit later, as I said, about the value of being a jack of all trades. And my goal is to walk you through the process of how to be, I guess, a master at what you do. I think that should be the goal for anyone within this industry. Self-employment, particularly, you should work to become a master at what you do. And a lot of people don't realize the number of hats that you have to wear within this industry. The ridiculous amount of things that you have to learn. Like, when I think about my production, yeah, it's a little bit stupid, the things I have to figure out. But when I look at becoming a professional reseller, God, there's just so many things to learn. It's just crazy. So, yeah, that's the direction we're going to be going. But again, Future Fortunes, $5.04. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. But as I was saying, we're putting our patron slide here on screen. If you're not a patron yet, come on down. Forgive me, I don't remember all the usernames across. Actually, you are a patron. I helped you with your slide. I remember now. I believe you are a patron. Or if you're not, we talked at least. But yeah, this is our slide for all of our patrons over here. We're going to give an extra special thank you to Pam, Matthew, Pamela, Ashley, Ann and Joe, Allie, Lee James, Brandy, and Rob as our top tier patrons on our community. And an extra special thank you to everyone else who helps make this show possible. So first up, guys, our first slide of the day, we're going to be talking about an eBay outage that took place on June 12th. Between the hours of 1 a.m. and 8 a.m. Now, there's mixed reports regarding who this truly affected. I see some people saying that it was predominantly over in the UK area, and then some people are saying that it happened here in the US as well. Now, I know we have a UK crowd, and a lot of our gear is geared towards, or a lot of our news is geared towards the domestic audience, but this is one of the few things that's going to be applicable to you as well. Now, this outage was a site-wide outage. There was issues that were happening not only with active listings, but there was issues on the back end as well, as far as being able to create your labels and to be able to push your orders through. Now, was there any issues for anyone that's watching right now regarding being able to get your packages out on time? Okay. And Debbie, just so you know, slow mode just means that you're limited on the number of comments that you can put up at one time. It's just to make sure it doesn't get too cluttered. Now, if you were affected by any of these outages, this is an important thing to know. You can call in and you can raise some trouble about it. Because at the end of the day, you have to think, if I had an auction that ended at 7 a.m. on Wednesday and buyers were not able to get to the listing, or buyers at the listing were unable to bid on the item, you in turn lost money because of an eBay outage. So if you have a listing that you know ended far below what it should have, and it ended near or between those hours where we have a documented and verified outage on the site, call in. You have grounds to be able to successfully cancel a transaction without penalty, and or be able to receive your fee credits back to be able to relist the item again. Now, Devin Wennick himself, CEO of eBay, has echoed concerns regarding site outages for years, because if you think it affects us negatively and it hurts us directly as sellers, the company as a whole can lose out on millions of dollars across the course of a couple of hours from these site outages happening to them as well. So contact eBay, let them know what's going on. If you had a situation where you were unable to generate your shipping labels through the eBay client, you're using the Pitney Bowes and or the PayPal, or just pulling it through, if you're using a third party like Pirate Ship to pull your orders through, and the API, which is the back end tool to handle those orders, was not working, you were going to be entitled to be able to get your credit or be able to have a defect removed off your account if you were affected by this outage. So now is a great time to go through and see if that's happening to you. While we're on the topic, this would be a good time to do a full audit of your account. We talked about inventory audits last week. I want to talk about doing other types of audits. Okay, that means going through and checking your actual defects. Remember, you can get defects for things like handling time. You can get defects for people leaving 1 or 2 star ratings for their feedback reviews, and you can go back and see which items they were, and you can fight to get some of those removed. And the reason you'd want to is because of that 4% fee that it gets assessed on your account for specific category sales. Me, myself, we showed this during the spring seller update video here on our channel. I had one bad transaction within collectibles, and that one transaction was enough to push me over the threshold, the standard across all eBay sellers within that category, to where one defect cost me 4% extra on all collectibles I sell until I get my numbers down, until I'm able to dilute that down by selling a bunch of collectibles. This is one of the first times ever where I've seen value in moving large quantities of goods that might not make you much money simply to dilute your ratios down. Of course, you would need to have positive customer experiences with them, or you could just theoretically make the problem worse. So were you affected by this outage? I don't think I was, but I think it's important, and I think it's something that everyone needs to know. Now, next up, guys, we're going to be talking about a little bit about Goodwill here. And people had brought this to my attention. I don't know how big of a deal this is, okay? I've been talking about this for a while now. Goodwill's kind of been going down the crapper for a while. And I would say, if you're one of those people that is exclusively using Goodwill to do your sourcing, you've already done something wrong. Because I've been talking for, God, I haven't shut my mouth for 3 years, okay? I've been on air rambling nonstop for years, and I've talked about the importance of diversification. We don't just mean diversification on the types of inventory you're buying. We're talking diversification as far as where you're going to source, as well as your technique for sourcing. And we're going to come full circle on that towards the end of the show. I really hope you appreciate these cohesive elements. But if you're only using Goodwill, you're already throwing away tens of thousands of dollars a year. And if that number sounds high up in the sky up, well, it's because you're missing the link in the equation right now. So Goodwill has launched an official partnership with OfferUp, which is, I guess, expected. As Goodwill has slowly been raising their prices up consistently for the last 2 years now, what have we started to see more of? We've started to see, obviously, high prices, but we've started to see some more inventory getting stagnant. Now, within my locations out here, I've seen a lot of furniture starting to sit. things like, maybe chaise lounges and player pianos and, I don't know, big wall clocks, things that aren't necessarily great for resellers and are somewhat niche items for everyday consumers. So they've started to pile up, and they're realizing they have a problem offloading some of this inventory. Now, they've already utilized things like eBay. We know they've been on the site, and individual store locations or district locations have massive web presences on eBay, with some of their accounts racking up over 250,000 feedback. I've tried buying from Goodwill multiple times online when it comes to things like books, because they have incredibly good prices on books, because who cares? They're tax exempt, so they don't really care about margins, and sometimes with some of these books, it's simply a matter of getting it out the door because they don't really care about the profit on the item. Just get it out, get it gone. So every time I have tried to use them, though, I've had a canceled transaction. I'm to the point where I will no longer attempt to buy items from Goodwill online because they've sullied their reputation for me. On top of that, they have their website, shopgoodwill.com, and if I remember correctly, they also do auctions on that site too. If you're looking to diversify your portfolio, consider looking into online auctions. Not just the big mainstream ones, not just the big pallet sales or, the ones that everyone's talking about online already. Look for local auctions in your area. Okay, back in Fresno, we had A&W Surplus, and they would do these massive online auctions where you could buy 500 of something at 20 cents a unit, 30 cents a unit, and go down there and clean up. Was that for me? No, I get bored by that. But I know a lot of you who enjoy doing OA or online arbitrage, the process of buying goods online and being able to flip them for a product. I got a hot OA item for somebody at the end of the show. Maybe we'll raffle the bad boy off. I found an OA item that has a $20 return on investment, low presence on eBay, don't have to hold inventory, okay, and has a fantastic sell-through. So if you want to be interested, if you want to get a chance to win that OA opportunity, make sure you sign up for our Patreon. But coming full circle, guys, Goodwill has had an online presence for a long time. We've seen it on eBay. We've seen it on shopgoodwill.com. Yeah, it's infuriating. Because why? Because we feel very entitled to this inventory. Now, I understand the naysayers out there that say, well, no, Goodwill is there to create job opportunities for those who are unable to get jobs elsewhere. Okay, well, who are these jobs originally designed for? Because I remember the Goodwill of the early 90s when they would reach out and they would assist special needs young adults, which, don't get me wrong, we still see some of that now. But what I see more and more and more of here in California, Central California, Fresno predominantly, is I see convicts working at our Goodwills. And they're giving them this opportunity to get back into the workforce and go and get traditional employment. But it doesn't really resonate well with me that there is these opportunities that aren't going to those who really need it. And I don't mean to say that the value of a convict taking one of those jobs isn't good enough, but I would rather that go to a special needs person. I would rather that go to maybe our seniors who their money didn't go as far as they wanted to because of inflation. Or better yet, what about our veterans? Okay. And, I don't mean to get into politics or go too far off trail here, but I can think of a lot of people who could benefit from those jobs more than ex-convicts. So, coming full circle, yeah, they've been doing online sales for a while, and for them, this is simply another sales channel. This is just another location, another way for them to be able to push their inventory out. Now, the big effect of it, and we're going to talk more about branding, is reminding people about Goodwill and saying, hey, if you thought Goodwill was nothing but clothes, hey, check this out. We got a lot of great furniture. And before you go spend $400 over here on a sofa, what about a slightly used couch for $100, which is a disgusting price to pay for a couch. But if it's a good looking couch and you're a young family and that's the option presented to you, heck, you might as well go for it. And that's what they're doing. They're using this as a tool to get people through the door for the first time. Now, they've signed up 100 locations to start with. And this is an official partnership. This isn't just 100 stores saying that they're going to do this. They're going to receive a special badge on their profile, and they're going to get priority placement on their listings. So they're going to get ranked up a little bit higher. Now, on top of that, they're utilizing a tool called Upright Labs Listing Tool. This is a multi-listing platform tool that allows them to list to OfferUp and I believe Marketplace, as well as maybe some traditional e-commerce platforms. We reached out to them for comment on this, did not hear back, hoping we hear back from them in the future on that as well. Now, regarding this, the crazy thing about this too is I'm not the only one who felt this way regarding their tax classification. Now, we have some people out in the audience right now who understand what a 501c3 is, and that's your basic tax exemption. Looking at you, Pat, president accounted for. Your basic tax exemption for generally, you'll see it for churches or for nonprofit organizations, things to that effect. How much money does Goodwill need to make before we stop and say, you know what, I think they're a for-profit organization. I really think they do. And I know their CEO makes pretty good money, and it's not that high up in the pie-up sky number that we see advertised through the Facebook marketplace or Facebook groups and stuff like that. He makes a lot of money, but it's not something absurd. Based on the volume that the company does, though, I'm really having a hard time looking at them as a nonprofit moving forward. They make a lot of money. I don't know how much they made last year. We'll probably look it up. Let me take a look at some of these comments here. How much? Yeah, right. How much does the president make? Oh, the president of Goodwill? Let's find out. Let's do a quick search. How much does the CEO of Goodwill earn? Okay, it says the average CEO of any company globally, an average of 12.9 million. The Goodwill International CEO, Jim Gibbons, made $730,000 in salary and deferred compensation. So all compensation in total, including pay and vacation and everything else, came out to $730,000. Now, let's see how much is Goodwill's, what's it, GMV? Let's find that out. I'm going to pull up their annual report. Oh my God, it just took me to their corporate site. Now, do I think $790,000 is a lot? I really don't. Because there is a lot of work that goes into being a CEO for that company. I'm not going to say that his job is easier or harder than Devin's job. Okay? I would say that the companies are probably on par with each other as far as gross volume is concerned. I can't see a reason why one is going to earn more than the other. No, Goodwill is a 501(c)(3), not government fund. Yeah, they are a nonprofit. As far as I know, they are a nonprofit. And people would rather donate to St. Vincent's than Goodwill because of how much money goes to the upper management. Yeah, I don't think it's actually that much. I really look at $790,000 as being a very small amount relative to the amount of work that he's doing. And I would say, I would be hard pressed. I would say, find me another company that does as much volume, has as many stores, has as big of a team required, and has to jump through the same amount of legal loopholes that their CEO is making that amount of money. I would be very hard pressed to believe you could find a clone company that's doing the same thing for that amount or less. I just don't think it's out there. And if you find it, blow me away. I'll be really impressed with that. But like I said, there's a lot of concerns. A lot of people are echoing the same exact sentiment that I am echoing. Are they a nonprofit? Where do we get to a point where we say, you know, enough is enough? You're clearly taking these items, you're selling them for maximum dollar, and the lines have started to blur. But got to play devil's advocate on myself here because you guys aren't talking to me too much. We're kind of doing the same thing. If we were to walk into Goodwill and we were able to comfortably fill our carts like we did back in the early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, late 2010s, if we were able to comfortably fill our carts with high quality goods that we can go and flip for a profit, would anyone complain? Would anyone be upset? So I ask again, are we upset because we aren't getting our way, or are we upset because there's something wrong with the system? It's a little bit tricky. Yeah, and there it is a rumor regarding how much the CEO makes. and that's what I was saying. There's an email that was going around, a Facebook post saying that he made $10 or $12 million per year. You can definitely look that up on Snopes. Snopes is 99% reliable, but you can do your own independent research on that as well. He doesn't make that kind of money. That's just stupid money. But if he did, I don't think I would be. I think if he made more than probably $2.5 million. And again, I get how ridiculous that sounds, but I have been studying financial earning charts for different e-commerce companies and brands. Devin Wenig, CEO of eBay, earns $16 million per year. Okay. Jeff Bezos earns what? $1.8 million per year. Okay. Which company is worth more? Would you say that somebody should be, if a Jeff Bezos earns $1.8 million per year, do you think the CEO of Google or CEO of Goodwill is doing half the work that Amazon's doing? I mean, it's really difficult in relative terms. And like I said, Devin's earning 16. So it's a little bit all over the place. But back on with our slides, guys. Let's take a look at our next story. This is an interesting one. We're talking about the survey again. For legal purposes, I am not a participant within this survey. I have not signed an NDA that is not allowing me to speak about these things. If you are part of this survey, if you are part of this eBay experience, please be mindful when discussing this topic on air, as you could be charged, I guess, for giving out confidential information. But I am not a part of this survey. This information was provided to me secondhand. So lovely. And I also want to give another disclosure. That beautiful logo, do you see that FFE logo right up there? I made that myself. Okay, we don't have an official logo for fulfillment for eBay, but I felt it was important to jam something up there. And I think that if they went some type of direction like that, that might be a smart direction to go. But I played around with it a little bit, and that's what I made, just so that we would have a visual representation between FFE and FBA. FFE being fulfillment from eBay, FBA being fulfillment by Amazon. And we're going to talk a little bit here about the verbiage, why I'm frustrated with the verbiage, but we're going to talk a little bit about the survey as well. I'm trying to read some of these comments as well. Let me read some of these really quick. Brandy says, I only shop on discount days in my area, stick with the colors of the week, and my items are 50 cents. I would say shop a little bit more. Don't pin yourself down to discount days. There's probably great items that are $1 or $2 on non-days. Let's see. Here it is ridiculous. Yeah, some of the prices, especially here in California, are getting absurd. Future Fortune says, I know of a person who left a college job and went to Goodwill to make more in corporate office. And that's totally possible. There's a lot of college jobs that simply don't pay good money. A lot of people go to college when they should be going to trade schools. We're desperate need of trade workers right now. Beth, hello. Thanks for joining in. Says, I don't feel bad at all. If we weren't buying these things, using or selling, all that stuff would go into the landfill. That's a very interesting perspective. I hadn't really given that some consideration. That's a smart point right there. And how much is the company doing that isn't what they should pay? Isn't that what they should pay their CEOs? No, it's always going to be a percentage based on what the share. Generally, when you have a publicly traded company, which I don't believe they're publicly traded, that's something that's decided by the shareholders. Majority vote is going to determine what type of wages the CEO should make. Because the thing is, if you have a great CEO, you're going to want to pay them. Here, I'm going to even pull this down. You're going to want to pay them enough to keep them there, because great CEOs have the opportunity to go be a great CEO at almost any company that needs them. I guarantee you that if that Goodwill CEO is worth his money, he's probably been offered several $1 million to go work for another company at this point. Great CEOs don't come by often. So they want to give him enough to keep him, but they don't want to give him so much that it looks ludicrous, that he's just asking for so much, because every dollar they give him is literally $1 out of their pocket when we talk about shareholder dollars and dividends. So let's take a look at this one again, guys. I just wanted to give preface those two things. So the survey came out, and I'm going to be reading a lot of stuff verbatim. There was no fancy way to really break this down, so I'm going to read this verbatim. I'm going to slow down a little bit too. I've been going a little hot and heavy here. The email read, or the website read, imagine eBay were to offer a new fulfillment service that allowed you to deploy your inventory to multiple locations around the country, being closer to the buyer And the service would include, and we're going to list off some of the things here, but let's just be honest, okay? This is an inventory warehousing setup. This is exactly what's happening. The things that they're talking about including are 1 to 2 days promised delivery to buyers with access to eBay's high sales velocity program. For example, the EGD or a new program. And that we're going to have to do a little more research on here in the future. They're also saying that it would include storage and pick and pack in eBay fulfillment warehouse. Okay, if that's not the nail on the head, I don't know what is. But this is the same exact thing that Amazon does with late end of day cutoff. For example, a 9 p.m. cutoff. I don't understand why they would say 9 p.m. when our cutoff is midnight. And they're saying allowing more orders to be processed same day. Now, if they have a truck going out the door at 9 p.m., that's kind of cool. I'll tip my hat to them for that. I don't know how late Amazon's trucks are going out, but I can assume that it's probably that late. But they're talking about it like it's a talking point as well. On top of that, they're saying eBay will handle all of buyers' queries related to delivery. For example, where is my item? Or what is my tracking number? Or how come my item isn't here? Or my item says it's delivered, but I don't see it. This is fantastic. Okay? But I'm going to give you my full opinion at the end. But I do like that individual point. Okay? Full protection, on-time delivery-related issues, no penalties for missed deliveries, damaged goods, or non-received items. Which, isn't that not our fault, though, if one of those things happens? They're kind of talking about it like it's an up point, in the sense that, if you buy a car, we're going to go ahead and give you 4 doors, and we're going to give you 4 tires as well. And, I'm looking at this, and it's like, okay, well, you have my items. Your employee is taking it off the shelf. Your employee is putting it in the box. You're choosing the courier. You're paying for the shipping, and you're telling me that it's going to get to the customer. So if it doesn't get there, how is it my fault? So they're repackaging it in a different way. Tomato. The next one, option to fulfill orders from your own website or other marketplaces. Now, Amazon already has a program in place. If you're somebody moving volume, and you've established your account very well, you can get yourself to a point. Here we go. You can get yourself to a point where you can actually be an FBA provider, where your listings will say Prime, but you're actually shipping out of your house. And you can generate your own UPS labels, and you can get them out the door, and they'll go 1 day or 2 day handling straight, or 1 day, 2 day shipping straight from your house. But you have to have massive quantities of good. I've known one person who's done it. He had 4,000 units of something, and he was sending out 200 to 300 units per day. But he was able to continue to replenish his goods over time. So I guess eBay would offer the same thing. Now, when I hear this, I'm already a little bit worried because there's not that many great eBay sellers out there, okay? I'm just going to be completely honest. There's a lot of bad apples out there that are really screwing things up for other people. And I can only say this because I do a lot of shopping on eBay, and even some of the people that are seasoned are getting things wrong. Really, really wrong. And it's very frustrating to me because it's not difficult to get things right. All the resources and tools you need available are out there. And I don't want, let me finish up these points because I could talk on each one of these for like 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, additional services offering returns, packaging, international fulfillment can be offered at an additional cost. Okay, so if you want them to handle your returns, packaging, international fulfillment, makes no sense at all. It then asks, assuming the service is offered at a competitive price, how likely would you be to use fulfillment services, even if only for part of your sales? eBay also asked sellers which of the following additional features offered for an additional fee would be the most attractive to them. And then they listed these ones out. eBay managed returns. Buyer returns an item to eBay, and eBay restocks the item into the seller's inventory. Now, Amazon has that feature as well. International selling support via forward deployment, which means international shipping with additional help for customs, duties, and tax calculations. Value-added services such as appraisal, repackaging, and imaging, etc. So basically having them handle the entire process, which would be kind of interesting. They tried it before and it didn't work. Inbound logistical support with negotiated rates to send inventory to eBay fulfillment centers. And then in another question, eBay stated, by using the new fulfillment service, you would be able to get seller protections, customer service, and access to high-velocity badge for your eBay sales. Do those sound like the kind of carrots that would induce you to try it? That's the quote. I don't know if that's the quote from eBay or if that's the quote from e-commerce bites where I snagged this story from, but it's a whole bag of just, in my opinion, I don't know. Let me hear your opinion first, okay? I'm going to cover a few of these things in a little more detail. So eBay managed returns. Buyer returns an item to eBay and eBay restocks that item. Now, Amazon already has this. I won't use it because I don't trust Amazon to determine whether or not my item is in the same condition in which I sent it out originally, because they already have a hard enough time getting my item to the customer without destroying it. My customer has a hard enough time getting the item to the warehouse without them destroying it, and then Amazon has a really hard time sending that item back to me without destroying it, let alone me shipping it back to the warehouse again. Every item I've had sent back to me from the Amazon warehouse has been destroyed. Okay, they suck at packing. Of all the things that Amazon has accomplished in the world, their use of large, clear bubbles inside of their massive boxes is the one thing that blows my mind. How have they not sorted that out yet? You know what we should do? We should @ Jeff Bezos and send him a link to one of my pack and ship videos and then make his entire team watch it, because I think that there's a lot of room for improvement on something as simple as pack and ship. I have to ask, guys, would any of you use this? Okay? Now, when we talk about this being added into the marketplace, the climate as a whole, why? Okay? Why? Now, we've seen this for a long time. We've talked about this. Some of you who've been around the longest, 2 years, 3 years plus, you remember the days when I'd say, all we're seeing happening again is we're seeing eBay chase after Amazon over and over and over. Amazon does something great. eBay wants to try and come up with their own follow-up to try and compete with that thing that they are doing. We talked about this 2-3 years ago, and I said, eBay really lacks any form of original thought or original idea that has the ability to translate to a positive gross merchandise volume increase quarter over quarter. They are horrendous at being smart and creative and coming up with new stuff. They refuse to hire young blood. Look at their CEO panel. Okay, it's like 35 plus, 40-year-old plus across the board. They need youth to come in there and shake things up a little bit. They've lost their brand identity. They've lost their vision. They've lost their direction. So all they can do now is try and mimic what other people have done successfully before them. Now, is that a horrible plan? Not entirely, but the problem is it's all about who you choose to chase. I've said here within this community, I said, if you want to be a successful eBay seller, all you have to do is do exactly what other successful people have done before you. You want to be a successful YouTube creator? All you have to do is do exactly what successful YouTube creators have done before you. But the difference though, okay, if you can do okay doing any of those things, and we've talked about the danger of being okay, but to really take it up to that next level and to be able to surpass your competition in any capacity, you got to bring your own little special seasoning along with it as well. If you bring no original thought and no original value to what you're doing, you're going to end up with mediocre results. Why? Because you're chasing somebody who has a massive head start on you. This would be fine if eBay came to the table with this idea, 8 years ago, before Amazon completely dominated the market space from front to back. Name me a product you can't buy on Amazon right now. I dare you, okay? Everything's on there right now. And that's the problem that eBay is going to encounter. They aren't first to market. This is a common term we hear when we talk about tech companies. We talk about, Uber being first to market. We talk about HelloFresh, the meal delivery service being first to market. Even companies, smaller companies reinventing new ideas and working to be first to market within a very specific space. Look at our show, E-commerce Variety News Show. Who else does this? Who else does this exact same setup? Nobody else does this. But a lot of people do YouTube. A lot of people go online and they talk about eBay, and they talk about e-commerce and fintech and whatever else, talk about their sales. But I came to the table with a little bit of extra seasoning. I brought it up to the next level and I made it a little bit more creative, a little bit more unique, and I've positioned myself to be able to slowly work my way up through the market because I'm bringing a fresh idea to the market. Now, eBay simply cloning an idea that already exists and in some way believing that they're going to be able to compete with Amazon is horrendous. It's a stupid idea. But there is one thing that they are going to do, okay? They're going to invite a lot of Chinese sellers to come along and do the same thing. Now, again, I must stress this, guys. I am half Chinese. If anyone's going to be critical of the prevalence of Chinese sellers within our American platforms and be able to get away with it, I'd like to think it can be me. Now, where do I get away with saying this? Okay. Well, look at Amazon, for instance. Look at Amazon's FBA program, for instance. What percent of Amazon FBA sellers are from the China region? China, Japan, Taiwan, Indonesia. Let's just go in and bundle them all together, just for the sake of argument. Take a guess what percentage currently on Amazon, based on recent polling, recent surveys, and back-end information, are on Amazon right now. Because when I did my research, I was a little bit surprised because I don't want to just take the base story for what it is. I like to do research beyond. Read an article here, read an article there, make some phone calls, dig a little bit deeper. Lisa's saying 80%. Hello, Lisa Tia, this evening. Good to see you again. Right now, 40% of all Amazon FBA sellers, so we're talking sellers who have inventory within American warehouses here, are Chinese. Okay, or Indonesian or Taiwanese or Korean, just of that region as a whole. Okay, 40%. That's a little crazy. Now, if we already look at the fact that we know eBay is very much so favoring the Chinese seller, and I can kind of get why. Virtually endless supply, very much so willing to give refunds, large volumes of sales. Just a very overall consistent experience for the consumer. I can get why they're doing that, but we have to remember what's going to happen. What's the price to pay? If we say we want to make all of this money right now, we end up throwing away the value in the long game. So it's a little bit nutty as a whole. Okay, let me read through some of these notes really quick. So another problem that we're having is that if something like this happens, what's going to happen to search? Okay, that's something we need to think about because we talk about, those of you who don't know, Cassini, which is the internal engine that runs eBay search. How does Cassini work right now? Any guesses? I don't have a darn clue. Is it the item that has the most relevance as far as title? Is it header? Is it footer? Is it time of day on site? Is it the resolution of the photos? Is it because you're a top-rated seller? Is it because you just sold one last week? Is it because you're an FFE seller? Is it because maybe in your region you pay more fees? We don't understand how it works. And the problem is, right now as sellers, we can't make optimizations with full clarity and full understanding of the changes that we're making and how they will affect our search. So we don't have a lot of control as far as what we can do to be able to increase our sales volume without guessing. And you know how I feel about guessing. I've gotten myself in trouble talking about this before, but we can't guess. Okay? Yes, Brandy. Yes, Debbie. If we knew, we could sell more. But here's the problem. If we allow FFE to occur, which I feel us as sellers, we have the power to push back somewhat, what's going to happen to search? Who is going to get priority? Because right now, let's look at this situation. Let's say I'm a bad seller, okay? But I've got an in-demand item. Now, my category that I'm working in is a high percentage item, and because I've screwed up at some point in time, I'm paying an extra 4%. I've also got promoted listings on, and I'm also using eBay integrated payments, okay? eBay stands to make 22% off of my sale, something like that. 11% plus 4% plus 2.9% plus 25 cents, plus my promotion at 1%. They stand to make something like 20% off my listing. Would they prefer to promote my listing above your listing as a perfect seller? Because they would make more money when I sell it than when you sell it. Now, what if I'm in the FFE program as well? And we're doing the fulfillment by Amazon or fulfillment by eBay. I'm paying the warehouse fees, the pack and ship fees. They know they have my inventory already. They can control the pipeline and they get more money. Now we're talking a situation where we're looking at 30 to as much as 40% of the final sale value. Now, let me ask, who can give up 40%? It's not us, not the everyday average American seller. It's our international counterparts working on the other side of the world. They can afford to give up 40% because they're working with items that already have a pre-built 80 to 90% profit margin. Us Americans gobble up these $1 to $3 items like mad. We see it happening all the time. How many times have you gone online and bought something for 81 cents from Croatia? Okay? Because their dollars, or whatever, it's not the ruble. I can't remember what it is, but their currency is worth less than ours. So that dollar minimum listing price comes down to 81 American cents or 83 krones. 83 krones is what it comes down to. We buy because it's cheap and we need it. So why not? So this change that we're going to be seeing to rank is going to be an interesting one. And I'm going to gather up as much information as I possibly can this year at eBay Open regarding search and the things that you need to know. If you guys would like to contribute, the super chat button is fantastic. We also have a link. I'm sure Pam can put up the email. Thank you, Pam. If you'd like to donate directly to our PayPal. When you donate via PayPal, 100% of the money goes to the show. When you donate via our super chat, YouTube does take a cut off of that. We are actively working to be able to integrate PayPal into our setup on air. Give us a couple of weeks. It's a lot. These shows take a lot out of me to put together, but I'm getting faster at it. I promise you that. So that's what's going on with the FFE thing. I don't know if let me see if there's any more other talking points here. The last one, as we roll into our next subject. What is eBay known for? Really think about that, okay? Because I can list off some brands right now, and you can tell me what they're known for. Pep Boys. Okay, you know what Pep Boys is. You know what they do. IHOP. What is IHOP known for? Breakfast food. Target. General consumer goods. Okay, we know what these stores and we know what these brands do. Okay, Amazon. Okay, everything under the sun shipped to you. Okay. We know what these brands do. They have brand identity. And we can even take it to a smaller level. It's kind of hard to think up some non-derivative brands. Okay? But we know what these brands do. Pitney Bowes. You guys know what Pitney Bowes is, and you may have never even said the brand name before, but you know what it is. They do shipping. They're a global leader in shipping logistics. What does eBay do? What is eBay? They're not an auction house anymore. They used to be an auction house. There's other, much better auction houses now. Okay? They're not really known for anything at this point. And I think that's a scary place to be. Because our next slide, we're going to be talking about brand identity and why it's important. And I feel that the further eBay gets away from their origin roots, the more damage that they're going to do. I could fix eBay in a matter of 6 to 12 months. And I know that might sound mildly narcissistic, okay? But what if you knew, here's a free one for you, eBay. What if you knew every Sunday, 20,000 auctions were going to end? Especially hand-curated auctions on high-demand items, seasonal items. And you knew that there was, that's what they were known for. Sunday night, 7 p.m. Pacific, 20,000 listings are going to end at the same time. And you know what? Maybe they have that volume now, but it's not being promoted correctly. What if it was 500,000 listings that ended Sunday night every time? And they offered you as a seller, and they said, hey, if you do your auction and you end it at this specific time, we're only going to charge you 1%. We're only going to charge you 1% fees, as long as you're managed payment. Will you be willing to end your auction then? Heck yes, I will. If there's going to be millions of people online shopping these specialized auctions and you're going to place my listings within that, and we're going to make eBay the great American auction house again that it once was, why not? Why not? It'd be a great time. Cheesehead Treasures coming in clutch with the $15 super chat. I appreciate you as always. Thank you for that as well. If you left a longer comment, I would read it. He says, thanks, Jay. But yeah, if you ever have any questions, as always, I always say this, just reach out to me, buddy. I appreciate you constantly for doing that for me. Wonderful person for that. Let's go ahead and give him some lovely confetti. Oh, my confetti is behind. Oh my God, we're gonna have to do this again. Let's get this fixed. There, hold on. There we go. Confetti for Cheesehead. Thank you. Actually, it's falling on me, but thank you for that, buddy. I appreciate it greatly. But yeah, that's the thing, guys. Whereas eBay's brand identity, they truly need it. They truly need to get that sorted out. So today, guys, we're going to be talking a little bit about brand identity within your own personal brand. Now, those of you who don't know this, I like to consider myself a true jack of all trades, and we're going to explain why later. But I have owned multiple businesses before doing this. And rather than taking the shortcut to success with my companies, I took the long way around, which basically meant learning all the things that I needed to know to be able to have real success within the companies that I was working with. Okay, so one of the first things that we're going to be touching base on is the importance of diversification. Okay, now when people hear diversification, they purely think of diversification of either goods, the goods that they're sourcing on the front end, the types of items that they're choosing to work with, hard goods, soft goods, glassware, etc., or they think about diversification on the back end. They think about their sales funnels, the directions and places that their inventory is going to. Facebook, OfferUp, eBay, Prairie Grit, Amazon, etc. Okay? Those are usually the two things that people think of when they think of diversification. Okay? But we're talking more diversification on the front end to be able to really expand your brand outwards. And we're going to be talking about a few different things that a lot of people aren't thinking of. But before I even tear into that, I want you to look at some of these. There we go. Third try. I want you to look at some of these logos. Okay? These are my J-Craft logos that we use for the show. We use them for branding here and there, but those of you who follow the show, or those of you who might hear my name casually within the community, you know who J-Craft is. You know what Bolorama is, and you know what the Reseller Roundup is. And that's not on accident. That is a lot of hard branding that has happened in the background. We're talking gorgeous logos. We're talking call to actions, online advertising, word of mouth advertising, flyer. I don't know where my flyer is. Who the heck has my flyer? I don't know, guys. Flyer advertising. We're talking about all of those things. I even had it right here, too. We're talking about all these things that were a conscious effort. This wasn't accidental for you to be here now and for me to be here now so that we could share and have this positive exchange of information. What conscious efforts are you making right now with your brand, your personal brand, you as a seller, to make sure that people know who you are and that you are expanding your ability to find inventory? Okay? Really think about that. Who knows who you are within your community? Short of the people nearby you, are you going further than that? I'm having new flyers made for myself because we have eBay Open coming up, and I want to make sure people are able to connect directly with my channel. I'm going to put a little QR code on there, brand it, make it look nice and everything like that. And we're going to get those out to people who need them or people who are interested in us. You should be doing the same thing. We're also talking about diversification of your locations that you're actually going to. Like I said earlier, some of you are only going to Goodwill. Mind blown when I think about that. Okay, you should be diversifying further. Yard sales, swap meet, flea markets, boot sales, however you want to describe one of those ones. Okay. Sorry, I was just looking at the comments real quick. Yeah, you want to think about going beyond even those. We're talking trade shows. You guys go to your local trade shows, your little collecticons. We have a collecticon coming up in a couple of months. Not only am I going to be going there to source goods, I am going to be going there to work. Yes, I'm going to be advertising myself, and I'm going to be assisting a couple of other lovely people that I work with in selling some of their goods, and I may even offload some of my goods as well. But it's going to be a fantastic branding opportunity to get my name out within the local area and let people know that I buy these things. Think about the power of being at one of these 2-day events, okay, for 8 hours a day or 12 hours a day, and all you're doing is handing out flyers. Oh yeah, we buy stuff. Yeah. We buy collectibles, we buy, trading cards, comic books, goods, whatever you got. Yeah, just give us a call. And handing out 1,000 of these flyers, okay? Now, your average flyer return rate is about 1%, okay? So if you only get 10 people who call you back, but your average value per client is $100 per client, which is generally what I average, you're going to get a $1,000 return on investment on your 1,000 flyers that go out. Okay, the 2-day event is going to cost $140 for 2 days, which means I would stand to profit $860 for being out there 2 days. That's on the low end. Low end flyer marketing results in a 1% return. Strategic and targeted marketing, where I'm working directly with my consumer base, comes back at a 4% return on investment. Okay, so we'd be looking at about a $4,000 rake opposed to a $1,000 rake. Is it worth it to be at a 2-day event with the intent to not buy a single thing while you're there? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, because you'll make a lot more money sitting behind a table at an air-conditioned booth doing almost nothing but saying nice things to people, making new friends, and conversing regarding trading cards and collectibles all day, versus going out and doing what? Thrifting and hoping that you find good items at Goodwill. Now, beyond going to events, and you say, Jay, I don't want to go to an event. I don't want to book a table. I don't want to sit down and talk with people all day. Because some of you, and I know this, simply do not like people. Thank you for choosing me to be one of the people that you do like. Another thing that you can do is you can go to local shops in your area. Back in Fresno, we have a connection with a couple of card shops out there. We have one card shop that says, we won't buy sports cards. We're just not interested in sports, okay, at all, period. I say, okay, cool. If you get anyone who calls you with that stuff, give them my number, okay? And these connections aren't easy either, okay? Go in there, get to know the people, make it something that you're passionate about. I don't even care if it's quilts. I don't care if it's macrame. I don't care if it's cross stitch. Someone somewhere in your town is dealing in this stuff or is known for this stuff and has access to these goods and simply doesn't want them, okay? I go across town to the card shop and I talk with him over there, different card shop. And he says, oh yeah, no, all we deal in is sports. And I'm like, you get people who call you about Magic? You buying it? He's like, I won't touch Magic. It's too much work, too much effort. Great. Give them my number when they call, okay? Tell them to call me and I'll buy all of their Magic. What are you doing for your brand to make sure that you have these strong local connections where you're being friendly with people, you're offering them a benefit and a service? Because think about it this way. Where would that customer go otherwise? Nowhere, okay? But you let the shopkeep know that he has an opportunity. Sorry, I'm seeing a comment come in. You let people know that he has an opportunity to be able to assist his customer. Either his customer can go, or his customer can call somebody that he likes. Or his customer can go and call somebody who can get money into that person's hand, and then in turn, maybe that customer will come back to the shop and spend those dollars. Right? And what's the trade-off for the business? The business obviously gets to help their consumer along, which a good business owner is going to want to do that. And the other trade-off for them is that if you come across goods that maybe got missed in the fray, maybe they bring over a box and it's full of Magic, but oh, look at this. There's a whole bunch of World of Warcraft cards. And maybe I don't feel like dealing in World of Warcraft, and maybe there's $20, $40, $60 worth of value here. Let's take them out. Give them to the shopkeep. Give them away. It doesn't matter. Okay? And this can be done across all categories. Okay? Having a strong personal brand allows you to have the presence to be able to walk into a business, declare who you are, what you do, how you can be of value to them, and become a trusted entity within the community. Okay? They can say, oh yeah, no. I work with that guy named Jay. He's the one who buys all of this stuff. Okay? And you can become a respected entity within the community. So consider starting to do that. Consider getting your own personal brand logo, getting some of those things made for yourself, creating flyers, okay, getting your number out there, and then you can take the same exact brand identity and you can publish it online. I buy this, put it on Facebook, OfferUp, Craigslist, Let Go, anywhere you want. Print out flyers, leave them at businesses. Ask your friends' businesses if you can leave them there. Let them know that you buy these types of things and drop a stack of flyers. Barber shops, restaurants, donut shops, you name it. Anywhere you see a stack of flyers, reach into your pocket and slam a stack right down next to it. Why not? It's free advertising. When I was in Fresno, I probably made $10,000 from record shops and music shops in the Tower District who allowed me to place my cards down there, and people would call me like, oh yeah, I'm over here at Spinners and I just saw one of your flyers. Great. Okay? Don't miss out on opportunities to make money just because you don't want to put the effort in now. That's the thing about this. You put in 15 to 20 hours to build this up right now, it'll pay dividends for life. Okay? I understand it can take a long time to get that done, but it's going to be worth the effort. Let me look at some of these comments here. If you have any questions regarding personal branding, I strongly suggest you ask them now. Not many people are very well versed on this. I've been doing this for years and years on end. I could talk on this topic for about 4 or 5 hours, so I just wanted to give a very soft overview of some of the benefits of personal branding. But if you have a question, please ask it now. She's Had Treasures says, hates people. That's why I sell online, but still manage to attract idiot buyers all the same. So I still hate people. I have my days, buddy. I have my days. Tisus Foosh Q says, I don't participate in that group anymore, but I still have the YouTube account. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. We'll figure that out. I see some conversing going on before that. It looks like somebody's taking care of you. Brandy says, I have my moments. I put on my cheery face and meet people to promote myself and my efforts, but I have a lot of downtime needed to refresh my batteries. I'm the same way. I'll tell you the honest to God truth. Once 8 o'clock hits, I turn it all off. Okay. And there's only a handful of people that I'll interact with after 8 o'clock. It's usually the patrons and just like 1 or 2 people other than that. And I need my downtime. I really do. Having contact is key in this business. That's how you find the good stuff, but I still hate people. And you would be really blown away with the amount of power you can have. Or, excuse me, let me not use the word power. The amount of reach and ability that you can have by doing that. Give me 1 second, guys. I thought there was a flying bug on my tape measure, but it is a vertical splotch of paint. Debbie says, give your business card to everyone you talk to. I don't have a phone number, but I do have contact info, YouTube, eBay, and email. And to that, I say close but no cigar. Okay? People should know who you are, but business cards, in my opinion, are garbage. And the reason I say that is because it's been statistically proven 99% of all business cards end up in the trash. What do? I do 4-ups. Okay? This is how big a 4-up is. It's a flyer. Those of you who are with us, I'm still looking for my darn cards. I don't know where they're at right now. Those of you who are part of the community, who have your thank you cards, why don't I have them on my desk? Oh, I know why. Because I put it inside of my book as a bookmark, that's why. Okay, so we use these. We use 4-ups, and my old shop used to use these 4-ups as well. A full-size card like this is significantly less likely to be thrown away than a business card. So that's why I say spend a little bit of extra money. And if you aren't getting these done correctly, I have the ability to get 10,000 of these made for about $100, give or take, shipped. Okay? And that's more than you're going to need for years and years and years to come, unless you're just a master at getting these out. And then on top of that, like I said, I could go for hours on this, hours and hours and hours. Once you've built up a trusted community of people who are understanding of what you're doing, people will want to help you. They'll say, hey, can I take some of these and I can leave them in my work? Please give them 30 or 40 and hand them to them. Say, hey, if you ever run short, let me know. If you want to build it up even further, you can say, I'll tell you what, if you put your name on the back of these and somebody comes to me and they say that they were referred from you, I'll give you 10% of the sale as well. Or if I buy and if I spend $500, I'll give you 10% of what I spend on the buy if they came from you. They just got to show me a card with your name on it and I'll give you the credit. And they get to keep the card, obviously. But you can do that as an incentivization tool. Honestly, guys, please ask questions if you have them. This has been the backbone of a very successful business for me in Fresno. Over $120,000 a year in revenue from an in-house shop, completely separate from my sourcing and what I did previously. Oh, and guys, if you'd like to hire me to do your artwork, okay, this is 100% custom art. Not 100% done in-house. I didn't photograph the original photograph, but art design as far as layout, graphics, branding. I did one for, Future Fortunes. I did one for him. I believe it's Robert, now that I'm thinking correctly. Did one for him. I did one for Matthew Eason. I do amazing graphics and visuals. All of the stuff here on this screen was hand-built by me as well. So if you need somebody to make something beautiful for you and assist you with your order, reach out to me. I'm not cheap, but my quality is there. I promise you that. So we do actually have one more little tiny bit that we're going to talk about. What is it? I can't even remember. So I didn't even take notes for this. This is an interesting one, guys. If you haven't seen this yet, I'll even make it bigger on the screen for you as well. Let's see if we can do this. So check this out, okay? This is a new thing that I just noticed this week, and it gives buyers the opportunity to put a time restriction on an offer that you're submitting for an item. Whoa, isn't that just a little bit crazy? Has anyone done this yet? I did this for the first time the other day, and I submitted my offer with a 12-hour offer on it. It was $136, a very nice light that I needed to order for production. It's going to be something that's going to attach to the camera while we're out in the field. And trust me, I almost threw up a little bit at the thought of spending $136 on a light that fits in my back pocket. It disgusts me so badly. But we need the correct equipment to be able to do the job right. Again, if you'd like to help, thank you. But we're gonna get everything done right. But yeah, you can do this now. You can put time-limited offers. And I said, you know what? The heck with it. eBay told me that this item is sold between $136 and $159 historically over the last 12 months, give or take, or 3 months, excuse me, give or take. So I said, you know what? I'm going to aim for the lowest number. And I would have never aimed that low because this item consistently sells at $160 regularly. And I said, you know what? To heck with it. I'll do $136. You know what he countered at? Because he only had a handful of hours on the clock, $138. Snap bought it up. eBay saved me, $22 on a transaction. And if push came to shove and that offer wasn't there, I kid you not, it was the cheapest one online already, I would have paid $160. I wouldn't have even batted an eye at it. It's the best device for my needs moving forward at the best price. I love it. I love it. So consider using that. And Pat says, we don't accept best offers. Sometimes there's a reason to turn them on, and we'll talk about that a little bit more here in the future. That's a whole other topic, but there is a lot of advantageous reasons to consider using best offer strategically. I wouldn't say blanket. You do it on all your listings, you're going to waste a lot of time, waste a lot of money, probably cost yourself some money in the process just from the time responding to all these offers, but there is a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. So we'll explain that in another time. Also, guys, as far as Tiny Bits are concerned, this is where we wrap up our news. I have it written on here as Tiny Bits. We made some big changes to Patreon. If you haven't checked out our Patreon, now is the time to do it. We have talked about a rate change that was going to be happening for a long time. Those of you who did not see our private video within our Patron Lounge, which is a secondary group that you can be a member of, I posted up a video explaining some of these changes. Those of you who are existing patrons, as of last week, will see no change and will not be required to pay anything more. Anyone coming on board moving forward from here, we have our new tiers. Instead of being $15 a month, we've moved it up to $20 a month. Reason is the amount of back-end work, it's truly increased. The things that I have to do to be able to make that operate. And $15, which used to be $10 and used to be $5, going as far back as 3 years ago, truly was introductory offer pricing. But now we've moved it up to 20. Those of you who are at the 15 who would like to jump up, thank you. Those who don't, not a big issue. And then we've moved our secondary tier from 30 to 50. And the reason we've done that is because the 1 hour of consulting time, we were offering it at a discount initially because, well, we really needed funding. We really needed to get this bad boy off the ground. But like I said, those of you who are at the 30 already, you will continue to receive your 1 hour of consulting for that price. New members coming on board will be looking at the $50 tier. Not to mention our perks. You get these for free when you sign up at the $30 tier, and we moved it from 2 months to 3 months. So once you hit your third month of payment, you'll get a stack of 500 of these bad boys. And if you want to upgrade to 1,000 for a little bit more, we can get you the price on that. I think it's like an extra $10 or something to upgrade to 1,000, which is something new that we're going to be offering. But yeah, you can get these too. And then our last tier has moved from 100 to 100. It stayed the exact same price. It'll give you 2 hours worth of direct support each and every month on anything you want to talk about. eBay, Amazon, personal branding, logo design, OBS, Final Cut, anything you want to chit chat on, we can talk on with those hours. And then you also get some new perks that we've included as well. To see a full list of everything, Pam has put the link up, patreon.com/Bolorama. Check it out. Check it out. It's pretty nifty. Okay. You get quite a bit. And then the last thing, we've had to implement a cap, which is something I didn't think I was going to have to do, but I've projected the amount of time that I'm going to have available and how the company is going to be scaling in the direction we want to move it going forward, as well as logistical changes internally with Facebook that have recently come to head. We will be capping the Patreon program at 250 members. Once we reach 250 members, we will no longer be taking on more people unless something changes on our end. But once we get full, that will be it. No more additional patrons. So get in while you have the chance. Limited offer on that. So, guys, I got some fantastic pickups over the last 2 weeks. Who's ready to see some items? Are you guys ready? Because I really want to get some of these things listed online. Let me get a little bit closer to my stuff. There we go. Fantastic. So, I really shouldn't have done that. I guess it was kind of worth the gaff, but in reality, it's not. This is the first thing I got. Guys, I don't know if I can explain to you just how soft some of these items are. These are mochi, okay? It's a new-ish material. It was originally a Japan thing, and you would see it coming from there. You'd see them domestically at the Round 1 arcades. You might see them in Chinatowns and specific towns. But this material is some of the softest material around. Now, this American-style mochi is not as soft as the Japanese-style mochi. And those of you who don't know, I'm a nut when it comes to plush. Good night to you, Cheesehead. Thank you again for the super chat. I'm a nut when it comes to the plush. Why is my super chat thing hidden? Hold on. I want to make sure that that's on top. Super chat notification. There we go. And then the black bar needs to be up. I think we got it stacked correctly. But yes, so this is super soft. And we also got this one too. Now, I was with Susan when we picked these up. These things are so flippin' adorable and so cute. These are Yokai Watch. I didn't look these up because I'm not stupid. And they're only $4 for the pair is what I paid for them. They gotta be worth at least $15 to $20 a pop. Wouldn't be surprised if it was more. And it's not microfiber. It's completely different than microfiber, okay? But this material on top is like, I believe it's a micro fleece. I can't remember exactly what it's called. Or like a faux suede type feel to it, but the internals, gosh, it's so soft. But again, the Japanese mochi spelled this one's M-O-C-C-H-I, I've seen it with a single C before as well, is completely different. If you don't have any of these, I recommend getting some. They're flippin' adorable. If somebody wants to look them up, you're welcome to. And yes, kawaii. And those of you who don't know, kawaii means beautiful, okay? Unless you say it wrong, then I believe it can mean monster or demon. But yes. Yes, you can feel the quality. And now that we're in gorgeous 1080p resolution, you can actually see the quality. Here, check this out. Look at this. Here, well, look at how nice this looks. Can you see the texture on there? Can you really see it? Isn't that amazing? You can see my giant zit that I got going on too. I don't know what's going on with me, guys. You would think at the age of 34, 33, it would be something I wouldn't have to worry about anymore, but I don't know. I also got this. I'll give mad props to anyone who can name this animal. Let me cover the tag a little bit. Isn't that thing adorable? This is a Buri Kookaburra. I had to look at the tag again. Okay. And this is an old plushie. This is from the Dakin company. If I had to take a guess based on the fill, it's not the bean fill. It's almost like the rock fill. Maybe the jagged poly type fill. I'm gonna go. It actually has a tag on. I was gonna say 80s, early 80s. What's it say here? 1982. Okay. I think I'm gonna get $20+ for this. I paid 50 cents for it. There's a good chance that it might go for more. I didn't have an opportunity to look it up using the Dakin name. Like I said, 108 degrees. It was just too hot for me. So I didn't take the time to look that up. But cool little plush. If you find these old Dakin plush with the tags, it's almost a snap buy. Okay, don't be afraid to pull the trigger and get something like this when you see it. You can almost always make money on it. You're going to have to send me that song. I have no clue what you're talking about. Now, these also came from the swap meet, and I was very pleased. I got these right off the bat. This is the power of going to a swap meet on a Tuesday, because I can guarantee you by Saturday or Sunday, these would have been gone. Okay, I picked up these breakers. These are 20 amp breakers, or combination arc faults, and I read that off the back. I'm not that smart. I got 3 of these, and the lady refused to take $3 each, even when I offered to buy all 3, but she did agree to take 3 for $10. I guess those 33 cents a pop really made a big difference for her, but sometimes it's just a matter of bundling things a little bit different. Okay. But yeah, these sell on Amazon for about $33 a pop with a gross profit take home of about $25 each. So as soon as I walked through the door, I was $65 in the profit, and these have a rank, I believe they're sub 1000 rank in the correct category as well. So those are going to fly out of here. And then anytime I can get more items ready for Amazon, the better, because I have a bin here to the side and it only goes out once I have 30 items. I really shouldn't have moved my chair. Let me get this up. That's about right. Guys, this next one's so cool. I talked about this one on the Reseller Rewind show. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend going and checking it out. I normally would not pay this price for this item, but I did because it was Woolworths. I'm trying to establish a good rapport with the people there, so when I come back to do filming, they're excited to see me there. They're excited to be a part of what I'm doing, and I'm not just some, jackwad with a camera or anything, that I show a real true appreciation for the items that they have there. This is an amazing game by Tomy, T-O-M-Y, and basically you can see these, everything's mirrored for me. You can see these little pellets here, and they get pushed out one at a time by this device here. Now, this is an air compression thing, but you put your finger over it, and you'll see that green piece. You'll see it shoot down to the end. Now, you want to play this a little bit more flat, and then it'll work its way through the roller coaster, and then there's a scoring bit over here at the end. Overall, pretty solid condition, and I paid a whopping $5 for it. Now, originally it was $10, and they marked it down to $5. This wasn't marked down for me specifically. This was marked down before I got there. Wheel Kit, if you're a patron, I'll go ahead and sell it to you. But here's the thing. Otherwise, I'd like to list this online. I believe I can get anywhere between $30 to $40 for this color in this condition. There is none available online right now. The last one sold within the UK at $25. So I'm going to aim high, 30 to 40, and that's because historically over the last 2 months, really, I've been chasing the buck big time because I'm in the process of rebuilding my eBay store after the move. I've been pricing a lot more aggressively simply to get my inventory numbers up. I want to have a store that I can run some level of consistency, and that when I do run sales, I can see an actual volume increase. So yeah, this would get priced on the high end, but if you're a patron, any patron can get any item at cost as long as they promise to keep it. If you're going to resell it, we'll ban you from the community. But if you're buying it because you want to keep it, it's something that you want to have for yourself, we'll do that. Or if it's for somebody close to you, friend, family member, daughter, son, something to that effect, that's also all right as well. But if you buy it to resell it, we'll just kick you out of here, okay? I'm going to need some help on this one. I meant to ask Daniel about this item, but I didn't. I know it's not going to be worth much. I just need help identifying the character. This is a Cartoon Network character, some type of Beeble Bobble. And I know somebody in the comments is going to be like, oh my God, that's such and such. How do you not know? Well, I don't watch a lot of Cartoon Network, unfortunately. I do this thing, from time to time. I call it work, and keeps me a little bit busy. So if you know who this character is, thank you in advance. If not, no hard feelings. Pick that up at the swap meet for 50 cents. Worst case scenario, it'll be a gift for Daniel. I also picked up a GameCube controller. This gunk on top will come right off. We will be doing another test stream probably in about 3 months. It's just a matter of building up enough inventory first to be able to justify doing a second one. If you didn't see our 4-hour-long test and repair stream, go check it out. It's on our Facebook group. I got some great messages after, people saying that they watched my video, they learned how to repair controllers, they didn't think that testing certain things would be so easy. They picked up some great little techniques here and there. So definitely check that out. That GameCube controller, I'll flip a $20 bill on that, maybe a little bit more as well. Printed material seems to be outdated. I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm sorry, Roger. I think maybe it's because my coffee is wearing off or something, but I'm having trouble with the comments today. I picked up this errors meter. Give it a second to focus. It's some type of camera accessory. It has a flip top on top. I thought it was for gauging light. It doesn't appear to be moving. It has a hot shoe adapter on the backside. I looked this up online and I saw one listing that was sold with a camera, but this was one of the drawing points of the device. I think I'm going to get $20 to $25 for it. I wish I had more information for you. I paid $1 for it. That's all I really know. If it sells, great. And sometimes when you get these situations, if you have the belief an item is going to sell, just go ahead and pull the trigger on it, especially if it's $1 and you have even the semblance, the smallest amount of sales traction on the item, it's going to be worth it to pull the trigger. Now, the next item up we got, guys, it's a little bit racy. Okay, I'm going to do my best to cover up the racy bits, but this is 52 art study cards. Okay, art study cards. Okay. It says, they say, we claim exclusive trademark rights in back design, card design, and other distinguishing features used in our cards. These are very, very old cards, manufactured by the Novelties and Sales Corporation of St. Louis, Missouri. Let's go and get these pulled out. We have the extra joker with the text on it, and I'm going to use that to cover up some of the assets on these cards. And these are for art study. And all the cards are like this. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now. Every single one of them is of this style the whole way through and through. And yeah, they're essentially nudie cards. And I picked these up at the swap meet for a whopping 50 cents. And yes, assets. And I believe, based on historical sales data, given the condition of this box, the box being a little bit rough, that I'm going to get somewhere in the $20 range for it. Okay. I wish this box was in better shape. Sucks that it's like that, but anytime you're at a swap meet and you see a box of playing cards, immediately start going through them. There is some valuable decks. Some card decks go for over $1,000. Okay, so when you see things like this that are odd, just pull the trigger on them. They're most likely going to be worth money. And worst case scenario, you get a 50 cent pack of playing cards. You either use it yourself or donate it to a retirement home nearby, okay? And I'll put together bins like that of stuff and just get it passed along. It's a fantastic thing to do. I'm sorry guys, I'm organizing my items incorrectly over here. Okay, interesting item, huh? Okay, let me see. Jay, I have a deck that I got from a really old lady, and they were guys, and they were all without clothes too. Deck sells without case for $50. Wow. That's an interesting find. It would be a little bit, I guess, weird for me to list an item like that, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. And I wonder, is there anyone that wouldn't be, or that would be opposed? Like if you found that item, you'd say, nope, it doesn't matter if I can make a couple $100s on it, I'm still not going to sell it. I also picked up another deck or set of cards. I was with Susan again. She was nice enough to let me snag this in front of her. She had asked about it first and said, no, go ahead, Jay, you can have it, because she's a flippin' sweetheart. These just spoke to me just because of how beautiful they were. Let me get these flipped out so that way I'm not holding something heavy over the computer. Anytime I see cards that a lot of attention to detail has gone into creating the design on them, and then when I flip them over and I see a lot of attention to detail on things like the jacks and the jokers, even the club faces on this, look at these cards. These are absolutely gorgeous. And I have a history with cards too. I love playing cards. I'm fantastic at shuffling, card handling, manipulation. I can card control as far as like moving card in and out throughout the deck and being able to maintain its position. Counting. I love cards. So yeah, these are great. 2 decks. Did not look these up. If I had to take an educated stab at it, I'm going to say probably in the $20 range, give or take. Could be higher, could be lower. This is just an offhand guess based on my experience. The finish on these are leaning more towards the gloss. For some reason, the gloss cards, especially when they're the thinner stock, don't carry as much weight. Now, these have a fair amount of flex. These are probably closer to maybe 8-9 mil as far as thickness is concerned. If you need a point of reference, your thank you cards for eBay for the patrons, those are 16-point cards. These are closer, maybe 10-point is the card stock or the weight of the card. So they're reasonable quality. You don't want something that's hyper flexible. So if you're in the field and you simply don't have any technology with you, you don't have any internet with you, the things you want to look for is cards that look very unique, that have a robust card stock, preferably not a high gloss, a light gloss or a matte, or what they call an air cushion, which is a cross-hatching of the laminate on the card. And if you need some examples of that, I can do another dedicated video on it. But yeah, very cool pickup. Might keep these. I have a hard time sometimes saying no to great playing cards. The other ones I will sell though, because I mean, what the heck are you going to do with those? This is a cool one. I got a feeling somebody's going to want this. I do also want to clarify. If you do want to buy an item and you want to keep the item, you can buy it from me directly for a discount. Just so we're clear. All of the stuff I get is always for sale. It's just I sell at cost to patrons. So if I paid $1 for something, a patron can buy it for $1 if they plan to keep it. But if you see something you want, and you want to pay like a discounted rate, you're more than welcome to. Don't be afraid to message me after the show. Check out this beauty. I've probably only gotten 4 belt buckles ever, but this thing is gorgeous. This is a Santa Fe Coastlines belt buckle. Wowee. You do not see things like this often. This is going to sell somewhere between the $30 to $40 price range. A handful of completed, not the best velocity, but this is a sweet piece. It has all the correct markings on the back. You always want to make sure you check your back sides and that the correct markings are there. See, this is what I'm talking about right here, guys. This would have been impossible to show you with the old camera. That just simply wouldn't have happened to be able to show you the resolution on the back here. So again, thank you to the... Here's the thing, okay? I say thank you to the patrons. Those of you who watch this, okay, if you're watching this later, leave a comment in the video. Say thank you to the patrons, those who are actually paying for these upgrades to make this possible, because you're getting a better viewing experience because of them. But yeah, make sure it has the embellishing on the back. I paid $3, I believe, and this was the same lady who had one of the dual pack of playing cards as well. Adam says, I have a deck of unopened, uncanceled Win Las Vegas playing cards. That's pretty interesting. I'd love to see a picture of that, if you don't mind. Feel free to fire that over to me. Not getting my vintage deck of Chippendales. Dang, Ursula. I really thought I would be able to get a chance at buying those off of you. When was the last time I showed an incredibly valuable board game that I picked up for next to nothing at a Salvation Army or a Goodwill? Check this bad boy out. This is Masterpiece in Upside Down Vision in the original shrink wrap. Holy cow. We have no shelfware the whole way around. We have no box crushing. This is probably the mintiest board game that I've ever found of the vintage era. Now on the back, we have a little bit of caving on the back bottom, which is something that's going to happen. We have a heavy layer of dust going on with the item as well. But overall, this thing is ridiculous. Now, I haven't looked this up on eBay. Don't crucify me if I'm wrong. But on Amazon, this has a list price in brand new condition of $141. Holy cow. Isn't that insane? I paid $3.99 for this item. Okay. And I watched other resellers in front of me, and I'm not talking about Daniel this time, scurrying around to the electronics section, scurrying around and grabbing as much stuff as they can, walking right by this. This board game was of no interest to them. But I scanned it. Big return on investment. I see it selling. Even used, I was seeing really good sale prices for this item. And that's going straight to Amazon as well. When you see new board games, guys, scan them, okay? And not, almost all board games sealed are going to be worth it at the right price. There is a good amount of them that aren't, so just keep your eyes open. Be diligent with what you do. We showed this one a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't get an opportunity to really tear into it. This is Vegas Showdown. This is a logo you're really going to keep in your mind. This is Avalon Hill. Avalon Hill makes some exceptionally expensive board games, and they're not expensive because necessarily the build quality. They're expensive because they're great games. They're known for making Age of Renaissance, which is hands down one of my favorite games. And I even have a buddy who did some of the artwork on a handful of Avalon Hill games as well. So when you see them, go after them. But remember, you're going to want to make sure they're complete. This one has damage here on the back, but even in used condition on Amazon, if I describe it correctly, I expect to get $25 to $35 take home on this piece. And I paid $1 for it at a yard sale, maybe even 50 cents. I think I bickered about the fact that it had water damage on the back. While we're on board games, we got a copy of Say Anything. This is a great family game if you're looking for something interesting and a little bit different to play. I've spent probably 20 plus hours playing this game with peers before. Ton of fun. It's going to be as good as the company that you keep. If you have really boring friends, expect to have a very boring time playing this. If you have a bunch of people like myself, you're going to have the best time ever. Great game, pick it up. Good return on investment. I don't know, 20 some odd dollars. Here's a cool one. Guys, I get so excited when I get to show you cool items because not all of them are cool. Some of them are a little bit boring. I get it. How many board games can I show you before you get tired of seeing board games? But check this one out, guys. Really check this out. How to Keep Your Volkswagen Alive. A manual of step-by-step procedures for the complete idiot. This thing is great. Look at the artwork on the front of this thing. Look at the artwork on the back of this thing. Fantastic. I even told the people that I was buying this from that I'm an Amazon seller because I'm not afraid of saying those things. When I was working down the price with them, I told them, I'm like, my job is to make sure that this lands in the hands of somebody who's going to love it and appreciate it as much as you do. Somebody who's actually going to benefit and use it. But that's not to say that I'm not going to take some time and I'm not going to flip through and I'm not going to enjoy this for what it is. Look at this artwork. And this is, we have artwork like this throughout the book as well. Now, I'll put I'll see if I can find an interesting one. Yeah, here we go. Goodness, I'll put this up at the camera for you guys. How cool is that? So now it's important to note that there's 2 editions for this book. This is the earlier of the 2 editions. Okay, so this one commands a little bit more money, about $35 on the front end, fees, shipping, yada, 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 about $25 on the back end on Amazon. Lovely pickup. I think I spent $3 for this. Very pleased, very, very pleased about getting it. He wanted $10. He said that this was one of the most valuable books that he had ever picked up. But great, great, great piece. Keep your eyes open for hyper-specialized books that are also a bit unique at the same time. Let's see what else we got. I'm just going to hammer through this one. It's another valuable board game. I can't remember what the return on investment was, but I remember it being very, very high. I'll tell you what, let's just take 2 seconds and find out. I spent $3.99 on the front end for this, and I bought it at the exact same time that I had purchased the other one. Let's see what this scans in at. Amazon is telling me, dun, 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 dun. I want to make sure I get the one with the right ranking. Looks like we're going to get $18.86. I run my brightness really, really dim, guys. $18.86. Just like that. There we go. So, fair enough pickup. Real pleased about that. Hello to those of you who are jumping in just now. And then this was one that I picked up almost 3 weeks ago at this point. Paid 50 cents for it. Pokemon Headbands game. Very small margins. I might make $10 on the back end for it, but, you know, I just wanted to make sure that I picked it up as well. Now, you guys remember the story that I told you 3 weeks ago about a boy named James and how he was going to be the next generation of reseller here in this community, how I wanted to work with him. Ended up never hearing from the guy again. Already sold the sleeping bag that I bought off them. I sold that for $50 very, very quickly. And then this is another item that I picked up off of them while I was there. It's a live bug projector. It allows you to see your bugs jogging across the screen. Now, I thought this was something made by Crayola initially, just based on the color scheme alone, but it turned out it's made by Insect Lore, and I don't think you're allowed to do Crayola on FBA at the moment, but scan this in. It's about a $30 bill. Again, same scenario, fees, shipping, yada, yada, yada. It's about a $15 take. I paid $1 for this. A little surprised that I was able to get it so cheap, but they seemed hyper motivated to get some of their stock out the door. Why this didn't end up on his Amazon is a little bit surprising, but I was going to use this as a lesson piece for him when he was supposed to watch the show, but because he isn't, here we go, we're talking about it today privately. Yeah, interesting enough piece. Again, not a whole lot to say because it is brand new and not much teaching angles for you on that. Okay, we're going to look at a few more items, and then we're going to go ahead and button up for today. I think we're going to try and get out of here in the next 25 minutes. We're going to hammer through some plush real quick. I picked up this Mario. I only paid 50 cents on him. This is another one of those things that's probably going to go to the Collecticon. And then I got this cutie. I don't know anyone who likes Powerpuff Girls, so this is probably just going to end up on the shelf behind me. But if you know somebody, let me know. Now, y'all know Pam loves Powerpuff Girls already. This may end up with her if I decide not to keep it. Paid $0.25 for that one. I have been trying to get a few more things for myself as of late. I picked up a nice stool. I don't know, like, think in your head of a classic garage shop stool. So the brown legs and, you know, the faux leather top rounded with the cushioning inside of it. I bought one of those for $2 at a yard sale, and we have almost a bar style countertop. So I picked that up. That was a great little find. I picked up some really nice glassware for Daniel. He likes, the big mug style glasses. There were some A&W root beer mugs. Those aren't making it up the stairs either. I picked up this awesome copy of Phantasy Star with the corresponding manual as well. This doesn't seem that important. It seems rather innocuous. This is going to yank in a solid $60+ bill. And I only paid $20 for it. Now, here's the problem, though, okay? The guy that I bought this from sold me a console that didn't work and sold me 2 controllers that turned out to be defective as well. Now, I was able to repair the 2 controllers, and I have 3 more N64 controllers that require testing, and I'm waiting on a console for those. I'm almost certain that this is going to require some work too. So we're going to be talking on our next repair stream about how to repair cartridges as well as how to repair CDs. So definitely tune in for that. But if I can get this fully working and I can stand behind it, by that point, because we're going to be coming into the holiday season, it'll probably be a little bit closer to the $80 to $100 price point. So great little pickup as well. Oh no, Pam, other Pam. Yeah, sorry, not you. And then I got this. Now, if you remember that Patagonia 2T vest that I had picked up a few weeks back, the same person had this as well. I didn't really want this. I'm going to be honest with you. This is make sure this isn't seized. Okay, yeah, this feels okay. But yeah, this is an interesting camera. It's a Dejure Electra. And it has the shoe with it as well, which is kind of nice. It has this aftermarket, I believe. No, this is an OEM. This is factory to the brand. This might be worth more than the camera, to be honest. Yeah, but it has multiple lenses across the front. I bought this for $1. Okay, you can't pass up this for $1. The scrap metal's worth more than $1, and I know I can find somebody who will pay me more than that. Even if I get a $20 bill off of it out the door, the cubic price on this is only going to be about $7 to ship this anywhere in America. Had to go ahead and pick this item up. I don't know much more about it. Forgive me for that, but it was so cheap. And then I also picked this up. Maybe somebody can tell me more about this mug than I can. I didn't look it up because worst case scenario, I'll use the darn thing. This is a Starbucks mug, and they charged me $1 for it. Really, really clean looking design. I like the matte finish on the bottom with the single gloss stripe as it moves its way upward. Relatively clean. Very modern looking, and then the branding there on the bottom, just ripped off the tag on it as well. Cool little coffee cup. So I have a few more things, I think. Another Starbucks cup. See, these cups aren't really big enough though for me. I don't like these short, stumpy cups. If they're going to be large volume, I expect them to have a little more size to them, like the last one that I showed you. And then it might be it's like a chalkboard bottom, but it doesn't have the same coarseness, I'd say. That's really it. The rest of it's just little nonsense stuff, so we're not even going to take a look at those right now. We'll just carry those over to the next week. So let's see how many people we have with us here tonight. God, we got 30 people watching tonight. Holy cow, guys. So as you know, guys, every week we talk about stuff. Last week we talked about the cost of being popular and what you're going to do to make sure you get paid, opposed to making sure what you're doing is right. And this week I wanted to talk with you about something that I had come to a realization on that I didn't realize how significant it was until just this week. And it's about the danger of taking shortcuts. Okay? And I had come to the realization that every single shortcut that I had taken over the last 2 years has ultimately ended up costing me more time. Because we take shortcuts in life because we want to make things easier in the exact moment. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about situations where maybe you hire somebody on Fiverr to create your intro for your video, or you hire a brand manager to be able to compile all the assets that you need for your brand. Even earlier, I was plugging my own services, and I do genuinely consider that a shortcut as well. Now, people who are experts within their given field can obviously offer more value than to somebody who's just starting out with the process. There's so many things within this show that I really wanted to reach out to somebody and actually pay for. Creating this whole setup Learning the process of OBS and setting up my OBS, setting up my Stream Deck, I truly wanted to pay somebody to get it done, but I'd realized that all I am doing is cutting corners, and ultimately, I will have to pay that time back, but I'll have to pay it back even more. Because when we learn how to use a shortcut method, we become very reliant on that method as it's the easiest way for us to get something done, but deep down we know it's not the right way to get it done. We know that there's a right way to do things. It's the difference between using MS Paint and using Photoshop. Okay, now obviously one is far, far more advanced than the other, and there might be applications where Paint may be best, but learning a more advanced piece of software initially is going to help you out a lot more than working your way up through intermediary pieces of software to get there. Even myself, I think about all the time I spent learning Filmora, and even before that, all the time I spent learning iMovie, and then eventually working my way up to Final Cut Pro. Now, if I had just started on Final Cut Pro, how much better off would I really have been? Infinitely better off, because all of the time that I spent learning these two pieces of software is forever gone now. I will never salvage that time back, regardless of what I do now to try and make up for that time. It's the same thing when you hear, marksmen or snipers talk about it as well. No matter how quickly you shoot the second time, you will never make up for the time that you've lost on the first shot. That time is gone forever. And the same thing applies to your business. I was watching KLC. She did a fantastic video on organization, and she said, starting your business organized is one of the most valuable things that you can do. Do it early, very early in the business process, making sure that specific items have specific shelves and you know where they are and you know exactly how to find them. Maybe you've given them SKU numbers that are specific for you, and you're able to find your stuff. Not taking the shortcut of just placing it on the shelf and then spending all that time every time you need to find an item will pay dividends on the back end. And we're talking about all these small things. The other part of it too is when I look back at the time I spent on Filmora and iMovie, none of those skills that I've learned help with anything now. They carry no weight. All the time that I invested into doing it the wrong way, the shortcut way, that time is forever gone, and those skills have no application on the things that I'm doing moving forward in life. Also, when the temporary solution breaks, you're forced to move on to the next one. And that is a painful process to be in. Look at all the people who are, we talked about, somebody brought this up, it's not my topic. Somebody brought up the topic of Google Hangouts. How many people rely very heavily on using Google Hangouts for their production? And now, when Google Hangouts theoretically vanishes, I haven't read the news on it, everyone is going to be forced to have to learn how to use OBS. And any amount of experience or knowledge that was beneficial for Google Hangouts is essentially worthless when coming across to OBS. And if you had just started with the gold standard, the thing that everyone considers the best way of getting it done, you'd be infinitely better off. And these types of things, you can find these throughout almost every facet of your life. Think about all the shortcuts that you've taken in life and the amount of time that's been lost to not doing it the right way the first time around. And I hear people talk about these shortcuts all the time, but yeah. It reminds me too of something like this microphone. Okay? This is far more than I'm going to need. But having learned how to do audio right the first time and be able to apply it to other productions and things that we're doing moving forward will pay dividends. We can handle bad video quality. I remember when the back in the day, here, let me just do this right here. Who remembers those days when I was tucked down in the corner? I can't even replicate it now. Who remembers those days when I was tucked all the way down in the corner and I had this massive amount of space around me because I didn't know how to use OBS correctly? I didn't understand how the green screen settings worked, but I grinded it out and I dealt with it and you dealt with it, and look where we're at now. We can do some amazing things. It is lovely. Stop using temporary solutions, guys. Figure out the process. Somebody asked me today to assist them with a specific project as far as something small, to be able to create a PNG brand name logo, a personal brand, their own name. And they were talking about hiring somebody to get it done. And I said, if you're going to pay somebody for their help, pay them to teach you. Don't pay them to do it for you. because if you pay them to do it for you, you will need to pay them every single time it needs to get done. But if you pay them to teach you, you will be able to do it forever. It's the man with the fish, teach a man to fish, or give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Same exact thing applies with everything in life. Really, really consider that, take that context and run with it within your personal business. So yeah, that's what fell on me this week, was thinking about that, the shortcuts and nonsense, and just having wished I had done some of these things a little more right the first time. Yeah. Last chance for questions, guys. We're going to be wrapping up. I'm going to go and play a little bit of chill music for us as we go ahead and wrap up this evening today. If the music level is too high, go ahead and let me know. Like I said, we are working on a bunch of new advancements here. We have our new software. We have our new tools. Coming back next week, guys, we're going to be covering some very, very important stories. We're going to be talking a little bit more about eBay Open as well. But it's just, a lot of things happening in the world of e-commerce, and I'm looking forward to presenting eBay Open to you this year. If you haven't been following, get caught up. It's going to be an absolutely fun time. Beth, go ahead and ask your questions about returns. I'll be happy to answer them. We can keep the music going all night long. But yeah, feel free to ask away, and I'm just going to keep rambling about other nonsense until you do. We purchased some fantastic gear this week, guys. Obviously, we're on the new camera. Image looks crispy. I love it. And yes, it's looking crispy. On top of that, we picked up some lens filters. We picked up a new microphone for audio. We picked up some extended battery packs. I went ahead and had to reorder a monopod. The B&H Photo was unable to fulfill our order within a guaranteed time frame, so I've had to go with another company to be able to fulfill that. The last few things, and I also picked up a portable light to be able to help with production. And one of the last things that we need to get is maybe a little bit more on the end of audio, but I don't think too much. And thank you, Debbie. This is one of my favorite shirts at this point. It's a Disney shirt. If you don't know that, then maybe try and figure out what character it is. But we purchased a lot of stuff here. I'm even going to go back through and look at my purchase history and let you know what else we got. And this is all due to the wonderful funding that you guys have provided for me to be able to do this. And you're going to be blown away, too, with some of the stuff we have coming. So we got the light, the batteries, the tripod. It's an HD filter kit, which is going to help protect the lens and allow us to keep it clean. We also talked about a rash of counterfeit accounts on eBay selling things far below cost. Yes, I went ahead and purchased this item off of eBay, so that way I can be the guy to figure out exactly what's going on with this situation. I will keep you posted. There's 70 people per hour viewing that listing. Wonder why? And thousands of them having been sold at this point. It's a little bit crazy. Let's see this question here. I sold a pair of earrings and the buyer took them and washed them. They fell apart. Now they are blaming me for bad glue and wants a refund. They damaged the item and want a refund. Negative ghost writer. Oh, okay. That was a secondary comment. My apologies. They're the same color over here. So the origin comment, let me get this correct. I sold a pair of vintage earrings. Now, first question, are they new or are they used? How did they actually get listed? Vintage earrings, and the buyer took them and washed them. They fell apart, and now they are blaming me for bad glue and wants a refund. So, generally speaking, when you're selling a used item on eBay, it's one of those situations where if the buyer alters the item in any way from its original state, this includes cleaning, includes water, soaps, spot removers, any type of cleaning or alteration to the item whatsoever, they will have voided their buyer protection. Now, there is a small bit of room for an exception in there if this process is considered a given thing that can happen with this type of item as far as general maintenance is concerned. So if somebody is able to reason that, yes, no, this is an item that you should be able to wash. There's no problem washing this item. Why should I be penalized for washing this and having it fallen apart? Now, if it was listed as a collectible, you have even more protections. eBay looks at the collectibles category just a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, this is something that you're going to be able to... I'm turning the music down for you. This, at the end of the day, is something that you should be able to have no problem working with eBay to get resolved out. So talk with them. If you still run into trouble, send me a message on Facebook and I'll work with you to get something put together. The best thing you can do right now is get as much incriminating information from the buyer as possible. But I must say this, you always want to try and provide the highest level of excellence in customer service you can. Try and be reasonable with the buyer, and if you feel that it was a reasonable expectation that the item should have held up from a gentle washing, and you feel that you might be at fault, then you can go ahead and refund out. But in my professional opinion, I would go ahead and fight this. The importance of winning the case too is that if you win a case, you cannot have negative feedback left on your account. If it does somehow get left, eBay glitch, or they left it before the ruling, you can call in and have it removed. Losing a case can put you in a very, very precarious situation. Push back if eBay tries to make you take that item back. You always want to make sure that you win these cases because it gives you the protection as a seller. It's a great question. Great question. Where the heck is my chapstick at, guys? What's going on? So, in other news, I lost my chapstick. If there's no better cue to wrap up the show than that, I don't know what there is. So, again, guys, if you want to help support the show, check out Patreon. I'll put the link up there right now for you guys. This is the only way that we make this happen because, as much as I love you guys and as much as I enjoy doing the show and helping you out, at the end of the day, I got to make some money. I was explaining to somebody earlier, they're like, well, how much money have you lost doing this? And I'm like, well, probably over $100,000. And what? How? Well, I give up 25 hours a week to be able to do this, sometimes as many as 40 hours a week, that I could go out and continue sourcing. If you think I have a lot of stuff now, I do 9 hours of sourcing a week. I used to do 30, okay? So my margins were much, much, much higher. I was making way, way, way more money than I am now. But I understand the value of the long game and the value of being able to have this community because it's valuable to me, and I know it's valuable to you, so please consider supporting the show via Patreon. Now, guys, every single week we do our outro. This week, I'm not going to lie, I did not have much time. I only put about an hour of editing in. I didn't have the time to record the new stop motion like I liked. I only worked with the existing footage as best I can. Let me make sure we don't got a question here. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry that the items broke. Don't rub it in, but I am unable to replace or refund you as per eBay policy. No, do not send the message like that. You definitely want to word it a little softer than that. So you'd probably want to say something to the effect of, let's see what we can put together. We'll put together something right now. I'm terribly, there's going to be some typos in here. Okay. Terribly sorry to hear that this has happened to you. Now, we aren't admitting fault here. We're sorry that this has occurred. Okay. We're terribly sorry to hear that this has happened to you. And we want to do, have they opened a case against you yet? That's what I need to know as well. We want to do everything in our power to help you reach a positive resolution in this matter. However, eBay has fairly tight guidelines regarding altering of items. He's a wordsmith. Yeah, I do this for a living now. But yeah, I need to know. You're very welcome, Beth. Let's get this problem solved first. Okay. However, eBay has fairly tight guidelines regarding altering items after they have arrived. We're gonna. Oh, is that too long? Uh-oh, that's too long. Let me copy this. Command C, delete. Command V. No comments for the next minute, guys, please. However, eBay has fairly tight guidelines regarding altering items after they have arrived. If you wouldn't mind better explaining exactly what happened, I can reach out to the eBay team and see if there is anything in our power we can do to try and assist you. So the important thing here is we want to make sure that the customer understands that we are on their side. We want to help them with their problem. Nothing would make us happier than to know that we can help them receive a refund, especially if it's not coming from us. If eBay is in the position where they want to issue that refund, that is fine with us, okay? But we need to defend ourselves and defend our accounts because that's what changes things moving forward for us. One negative feedback can cost you thousands of dollars, and anyone who says otherwise, I am skeptical of. Now, of course, I can't prove it My own personal experiences are that negative feedbacks have negatively impacted my account. Your individual experiences may vary. If I could prove it, I would tell you that. Because I can't, I'm giving you the disclosure. If you wouldn't mind better explaining exactly what happened, I can reach out to the eBay team and see if there's anything we can do, anything in our power to do to try and assist you. Short of that, I completely agree. I think I rewrote the message back to her about 4 times. Yeah. Short of that, we can possibly offer you a discount on another item from our store if there is something else that is of interest to you. Now, that discount can be 5%, it can be 10%, it can be whatever operable margins that your business runs to where you could give out some type of credit for somebody who's dissatisfied. At the end of the day, we want all eBay customers to have a positive experience, even when things aren't necessarily our fault. We don't want anyone to have that sour taste in their mouth, because a customer who's unhappy with the platform is much less likely to come back again. And as a whole, as a community as a whole, we want to make sure that everyone has a positive experience. So if you can offer somebody 5% or 10% and at the same time maybe get rid of another item out the door, why not? Why not sell a second item to somebody if it's going to make them happy as well? Even if it's a $200 item, and they had bought in a $20 item, and you're giving them 10% off on a $200 item, guess what? You made another $180 today, and you resolved a previous problem. Great. And the best part about that, too, is eBay, when a case is opened, they will look at this message, and they'll say, man, you really went out of your way to try and solve this problem for the customer. We can see that. And guess what? It speaks of volumes when they leave a negative feedback, and you can say, look, I offered them a partial discount on another item, but they still left me a negative feedback. Look, I responded almost immediately to every single message that they sent me. Look, I clearly explained that we were going to work with eBay to try and get this sorted out. And then in a later message, look, I clearly explained the terms of services to them. Unfortunately, this is a situation that's out of my control, but I've tried. Do you think that eBay rep is going to be more willing to help you or less willing to help you? Right? Beth Bryant, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. That's why we're here. Consider joining our community. We do stuff like this on the back end all the time. And we even have pre-written letters so that you can just go on to our back page, grab a letter that you need, and then just send it to the customer. They're already made for you. We have negative feedback removal letters. We have customers saying that they didn't get their item letters. We have all kinds of letters back there. We're working to make more. Anytime we make a new one, we try and save it as a file as well. As I was saying, guys, coming full circle like I always say I do. I didn't have much time to work on the outro this week. We did add our newest patron, Debbie, to the outro. If you're still awake right now, you will see your name in lights on your screen for our outro, but I didn't have much time. And I am going to say this, guys. I'm going to wrap up this outro. We have 2 more revisions. I can say that Jay is the real thing. Yes, I am the real deal. Thank you for that, Debbie. Go tell all the people who think I'm a pretender. And thank you as well, Future Fortunes. We're going to do 2 more revisions to the outro, revision number 9 and revision number 10, and then we will no longer be doing it until after eBay Open. I must concentrate all of my efforts into eBay Open after the next 2 revisions. That'll put us at 2 weeks before eBay Open happens. We're roughly a month and a half away at this point. So we're going to take a look at this outro. Again, don't get excited. It's nothing special. If you saw last week's, you're pretty much good to go. You really don't have to see this week's. It's not that great. It is what it is. But we're going to do our last 2. Then we're going to do eBay Open. I'll have a very standard one that I'm going to record, and we're going to use that for a handful of weeks. It may just be our backup one. Then eBay Open's going to happen. We're going to have a ton of footage. Maybe I'll record an outro at eBay Open. Maybe I'll shoot something while Devin Wenning is talking on stage. I'll just stand there, and I'll stand there and I'll shoot an outro. I'll just be like, hey, I just want to thank all the patrons, and I'll have them over my shoulder or something. That would be interesting, right? So, guys, thank you so much for watching the Reseller Roundup. Today is Sunday, June 16th. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And again, my thoughts out to those who are like me, who do not have fathers at the moment. I understand the challenges of the day. If anyone wants to talk with me, reach out, or you want to have somebody to talk to after the show, specifically for that, don't be afraid to reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram at someguyfromfresno if you just want somebody to talk to tonight. I understand it can be challenging. On top of that, thank you to all those who supported the show via Patreon. Thank you to all those who donated via Super Chat. And thank you for making this an interesting and enthralling conversation between me and you on some of the topics that we covered today. This has been the Sunday Reseller Roundup. Thank you so much for being here. And remember, if you don't make that money, someone else will. Have a great night. Man, oh man, was that a heck of a show that we just had. And I know what you're probably thinking. You're like, Jay, you were just here a second ago. You said you were going to roll the outro and we're still talking. Why are we still talking if you said you were going to do the outro? Because this is the outro and you didn't even realize it. Yeah, I know things don't always seem as they appear, but I thought I would make a little gaff of it, have a little bit of fun. So just like with the last one, 10 revisions. This is
the number 8
of 10 that you're going to be seeing over the next 10 weeks. We've been doing this forever now. So I guess we'll start out as always and say thank you to our base level patrons. Thank you to all of you for supporting the show for so long. Some of you guys have been around forever. I truly appreciate that. And then I also want to give a thank you to our premium level patrons. Those of you who have been contributing even more to help keep us on air. Thank you to all of you as well. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Obviously, there's no green screen, but we're going to have a whole lot of fun with this. And lastly, we have our premium tier patrons, which I don't think we have any as of now. Well, if we do, place some right there, but I don't think we do. So thank you so much for watching. And just remember, your guys' continued support is what keeps me on air and keeps me working hard and keeps me digging up the truth. So that way we can all grow smarter and financially proficient together. That's about it. Have a great day. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Completely. Yep. No, I told him the same thing. I told him. I'm like, just because you think it works doesn't mean that it actually works. Oh yeah, no. I'm totally aware. Has a huge subscriber base. Plenty of people watch his content. That's just the state of YouTube right now. You can't run around just making up stuff and telling people that it works. It's 2019. You have to be able to provide some type of evidence or proof for what you're saying. Otherwise, it's just a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors.